Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show, bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Recording live in studio, here's Nick and Matt.
What's up, everybody? Episode 91. We've got Nick Carl in studio. This is a treat.
Yeah, our intro actually was true, saying Nick and Matt in studio. So pretty stoked about it. What's up, boys? And how's it going, everybody, watching Monday night? We have someone else in the green room right now.
Yeah, let's bring him in.
Bring him right in.
Four up would be great. So welcome to the show, Simon Lizotte, everybody. Welcome, man.
Let's go. Hey, thanks.
So you've been asked the question a lot already, I'm sure, but I hope it's not old yet. Tell us how you're feeling after coming off of a win like you did at the OTB Open.
Feeling great. Had a really fun week in Stockton and looking forward to the next already.
Okay. How come, Simon,
really
it didn't feel like you had very much pressure on you in the final round? I've never, from the outside, seen you look it looked like a casual round, that from my perspective. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've had 4 years to think about how it's going to feel to win another tournament. And of course, you go through the scenario the night before the final round, and I've gone through this in my head many, many times in the last couple of years. Even though it's something you can't really prepare for, I felt kind of prepared, and I just kept telling myself over and over in my head, this might sound a bit weird, but I always tell myself, no one cares, you don't care, just play, you know what to do, just play, no one cares. Because the thing that puts me the most under pressure when I play is the fear of disappointing my sponsors and my fans and everyone that's rooting for me. So I just got to keep telling myself, hey, people just want to see you have fun. They don't worry about your score, just play. And I was very successful in talking myself into that yesterday during the round. So I was pretty much 100% relaxed the entire round. Of course, not 100%, but as close as, way better than I was hoping for, honestly. Round 2, actually, the back 9, was way more nerve-wracking for some reason. I just made some mental mistakes.
Did the last couple of holes, kind of the way Vinny slowly was charging back at you, did that kind of bring a little bit of added pressure into it? Or were you like, you know what, I'm up 4 with 4 to go, or up 3 with 3 to go? How was it feeling just in the last 3 or 4 holes?
Yeah, if you have a lead that's the same as the amount of holes that are left, it's pretty comfortable. The final stretch in Stockton is a bit tricky, and especially gets really windy. For some reason, once 6:30 p.m. hit, it got super windy on that course every day. So I knew obviously it's never over until it's over. But for some reason, my own pep talks helped just a lot. Just telling myself, hey, even if you crumble now, no one cares. Just keep playing. And I was throwing the disc so well that probably gave me confidence too. That I just felt like it was meant to be. So I guess it just kind of rode the wave.
One of the things that we're actually talking about in the show a little bit later is, players dealing with injuries, and you've had an ongoing injury in the elbow. How is that feeling nowadays? Obviously, you just won this big tournament, so it's got to be feeling somewhat good. But is it still slowly getting better? You've done a lot of rehab on it?
Yeah, last off season I did 6 months of rehab and started a late season last year. This year I started late because I was having a baby. So I kind of knew it was going to take me a handful of tournaments to get back into the groove of things. And my arm in the first 2 or 3 events, I was a bit worried, to be honest, because it wasn't feeling great. But I was pretty sure that it was going to get better and better every tournament, because my injury, rest does not help my injury. I need to keep throwing. My body needs to know what's going on and needs to be prepared. And I feel the more I play, the more tournaments I play, the better I'll get at kind of calming down, being more relaxed. And that really helps with my injury, because the only thing that hurts right now is full power backhands and kind of those shots where I lose a bit of control. So yeah, the more relaxed I'm out there, the more I play, the better it feels. So this weekend was actually the best it's felt this year.
In your post-round interview, you mentioned I think you said top 10 or even top 20 is a success nowadays. Was this a surprise to you to come out with the win at this event, or did you go into it feeling like this is one I have a chance at?
it's my mindset has never really been show up to win. So I would never say that I expect to win anything. But of course, it's been in the back of my head for 4 years now that when's my next chance going to be there? When are things just gonna, everything has to like line up, and somehow everything lined up this weekend.
Okay.
And it's funny you mentioned the post-round interview. I watched that back and I'm like, it is so hard to know what to say 10 seconds after you just won the first tournament in 4 years. It's like there's so many emotions and just thoughts running through your head, and then you get a camera and the mic like shoved in your face, and I'm like, my mind is literally like totally blanking. I have no clue what to talk about.
I loved it though. We stayed up late on the East Coast to watch it happen, and then the bonus round, post-round interview on top of, hey, you just won. Well, let's bring you back in, and you look at the camera, you go, are we still live? Yes, we are. So that was awesome. Yeah, you mentioned it's in the back of your mind for the past 4 years or so, and you even mentioned it in the post-round interview. Finally, like I finally got the win. It's just fantastic to watch you do it. I hate to say it this way, but from the perspective of those who are curious about competition, it makes you relevant. And some are going to hate me for saying that. Like, you're relevant as always having the ability, but like you said, you've had your off years here and everything that's going on. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like this helps make you relevant in the competition, or did you always feel that way?
I always knew that I could and that I should. And honestly, the mistakes I've been making in some of these recent events and even the last handful of years were not kind of mistakes where I'm like, oh yeah, that was a tough shot. That was kind of like a dumb mistake, or like, oh yeah, it happens, but whatever. The mistakes I've been making are like unbelievably bad. Like just something I never even think about that could be a possible mistake. So just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago at the DDO, I could have won that tournament by like 15 strokes if I didn't make the craziest mistakes I've ever seen. But I know every player can probably say that in hindsight, talking about their rounds. Like things could always be way better than they are. But this tournament, finally, I just didn't do something that like would melt my brain from stupidity.
There you go. So your new father this year, everyone obviously knows that right now. Does this win affect how much more you'll be touring this year? Or are you still keeping a pretty consistent schedule with what you've had in your mindset?
Yeah, no, this is actually the longest trip I'll be gone from home all season, because I'm doing this week is an off week. For me, it's totally not an off week because I'm here at Lake Tahoe right now. We're doing a project with Jomis Pro. I'm here with a camera crew. You can see I'm already mic'd up. So we're working on a really cool series that's going to drop hopefully this off season. And it's going to be a very busy couple days here at Tahoe. And then I'm driving up the West Coast for the weekend. And then next week, of course, is Portland Open. So I'll be gone for a total of 3 weeks, which is going to be the longest trip this year. And I know I'm qualified now for the match play, which is potentially the only change in my schedule. I haven't decided if I'm playing that yet or not. That's going to be in Colorado in a couple of weeks. Bit more than a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But no, this win doesn't change really, because I want to be home as much as possible, because your baby's only a couple months old once in his life.
Yeah.
True. And there's plenty more tournaments for you to win. I would say you mentioned being on the road, but if you were back home, just tell the fans, would you be at the Nick and Matt show get together this Friday if you were back home?
At Meadowbrook?
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't wait to check out the new tee pads and the new layout. All I can say, I highly recommend to go throw, because that place is absolutely awesome. And Nick and Matt will be there, so no brainer.
Perfect. You heard it here, everybody. If you're within driving distance, which is maybe different for everybody, show up. Simon Lizotte himself would be there. I think it's only like 10 or 15 minutes from your house. You are going to be getting ready for the Portland Open. You gave us a little bit of your time now. Tell Jomez thank you from the Nick and Matt show for this little interview that we got to take away from them. And we appreciate you coming on. And have a good evening, Simon. Stay safe and have fun.
We are all incredibly proud of you, Simon.
Yeah.
We're all rooting for you. You're the man.
Thanks. The upward trend is continuing,
Yes,
but
sir.
now there's nowhere up to go. So
there's more.
I hope I can like plateau at this
There's
point.
worlds. There's worlds. Come on, baby.
All right. Good job, everyone.
All right.
And
Peace out, man.
shout out.
Bye.
Peace home.
Peace.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Simon Lizotte, we were able to coordinate with him through the afternoon, and he's busy driving and all these things with Jomez. And I was like, it was funny. I think we were about 3 hours out from the show. And yesterday he said, reach out again as you get closer to see where I'm at. And I said, Simon, 3 hours. What are you doing? He goes, I can't predict 3 hours out. And I said, do you want me to reach out again in 2 hours, or do you prefer that I just quit trying right now? And he just called us up right before the show. I can do it right now. So we're making it work. So that was great from Simon Lizotte. Really happy to have him as a friend of the show and to make it on like he did there. So that was, I don't want to say unplanned, but that specific interview
It was quickly planned.
Yeah, unlikely to happen, but it worked out. And so we threw it in the beginning, unlike usual. So let's get back to our normal. Nick, you're up here in Massachusetts. What's going on?
Yeah, I just drove up. I got into town earlier this afternoon or this morning.
What time?
I forget. I don't know. I literally got home. I fell asleep in my bed, or my old bed, like within minutes probably. And then Ben and I actually just went and played 2 rounds over at 501 disc golf course. We have a tournament there this weekend, so I wanted to get in some practice. And yeah, no, it's been cool. I love being back here.
Yeah, we're all in studio, so your voice, as usual, gets this little upgrade in studio.
Yeah.
And people
The
get to
camera
really
looks
hear what
better.
you sound
Yeah,
like.
exactly. I can't read the chat or anything like that, though. I'm on the couch, so if
You
I'm
got a
looking off to
phone?
the side, yeah, I got my phone. It's only got like 10% charge, though.
We got a
Charge.
charger somewhere.
Now that I'm back in Mass, I got to throw on the accent, so it's only got like a 10% charge.
I'll tell you if people call you out in the chat.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fun.
So we were scrambling last second up to the show too, so it feels a little funny, like restarting computers and Simon's. It was a lot going on. So we're sorry we were late today. For those post audience, you're like late. Well, we were like 3 minutes late, so if that's late to you. All right, let's get right into it. The OTB Open event recap brought to you by Evan Kearns, or should we say Statman? He's a friend of the show. So Evan, take it away. OTB Open.
Yeah, it was quite the weekend. If you did not get to check it out, you're missing out. Was this like the biggest win for the fans of disc golf maybe ever? There's a lot of, fans of, all the great players, Paul Macbeth, Ricky Wysocki, Paige Pierce, but I think Simon might have the most fans, and the boom of disc golf may not have seen Simon win an event before, win an Elite Series event.
True that.
His last win was 2018 Memorial.
Yeah, wow.
We've seen, double, triple, whatever.
He's won some local events here in Massachusetts.
Yeah, some C tiers.
His most recent win was actually Vacationland Open up in Maine in 2020. But he takes this down, and we talked a little bit about his post-round interview. The first thing he does after he wins is he's like, hold up a second. And he just runs around the gallery, just high-fiving everyone. It was really cool to see. Like, that just kind of, I think, defines who he is, all about the fans, making people happy. And it was just incredible to see. Like I said, he took down his first win since 2018. This is his third Elite Series win to go along with a Ledgestone win in 2015. This is now the longest gap in Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite wins in MPO when you include the Tour Championship. It's 1,541 days from his last win. Drew Gibson broke that record earlier this year. Simon breaks it again. Other notables, Calvin Heimberg getting a podium. That was his 5th podium on the season from Elite and Majors. He was 2 strokes back. Aaron Gossage, this was his breakout event last year at 2021 OTB Open. He does it again.
And we had him on the show after that.
Yep.
We thought about lining him up again and just making it a tradition.
He gets a
Not this
podium. He likes it there. Something about the water in Stockton just...
He throws far, surprisingly
He
far.
smashes. Yeah.
And then his putting was on
Absolutely
fire,
smashes.
especially round 3, especially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, put those together and you're going to do well.
Anthony Brell, another name. I think he finished 2nd last year. He finished his 4th this year. Incredible showing. He injured his kind of knee.
Yeah, he said something about a jump putt on hole 3. He must have rolled it, but I saw a picture on Instagram and it was all black and blue, all swollen up. I was like, geez, that freaking sucks. So
I'm forgetting his name. On-course commentator
Brian Earhart
said, "Oh, it's like the size of a grapefruit." Now, I think it's a little embellishment, but but the point is, it was swollen.
Jeez. I wonder what he did to it. Did he just roll it when he was coming down?
It was a putt, I
think.
think. I think it was a putt of some sort. Yeah, he jump putted or something and
Just
came
down on it.
Yeah.
I wonder, does that tell the PDGA maybe we should be allowed to clear stuff out of our area if he landed on like, a rock or something? You know,
I should have took a picture.
Do we need to talk about rules once again?
I should have took a picture. There was a tee pad, and I was like, "Is that a pine cone?" I even asked my wife, "Is that a pine cone?" You know how the tee pad has the turf, but at OTB they had like the little like gravel pit right next to it, like gravel track or whatever, right next to it. There was a pine cone sitting in that what looked like the area of the tee pad, but not on the turf. I'm like, can they clear that? It's not in their like run up. So
well,
I don't know.
Yeah, their stance. I guess I don't know what the legal stance for a tee pad would be. That's your whole question, right?
That's my question. It's
within
close
reaching distance. That,
but anyways,
yeah.
So as far as Simon, by the way, because you said he got the win, we just talked to him. Do you think this was the most lighthearted, happy feeling that fans have had in disc golf, like seeing a win? Did you notice even the competitors on his card were like, wow, like this is hug. This is a good win, man. Good win. Like, you know, like
well, I think
everybody had a different feeling than usual.
I think one of the other moments that kind of had the same feeling was 2021 Worlds when James hit that shot. There wasn't, you know, I see
how you're correlating.
There was maybe two people out there who weren't maybe three,
rooting or
who weren't
happy,
smiling after that shot went in. Like the amount of like
who were the two or three?
Me, Paul, Hannah. No, I'm just kidding. But I literally my jaw was on the floor. We've talked about this so many times. But in the sense of like we've seen Paul compete at every single World Championship since 2012 and gotten first or second place at them. And where you almost see him win it again, he's got it right there. James Conrad throws up that shot. And everyone just goes ballistic. People are running on the fairway. You got a dude who's not wearing a shirt and American flag shorts literally running around. So, but I think for this one, when it comes to a more professional way of how it went down, was definitely Simon's win.
It just felt lighthearted in nature. Like it was just happy. And then you could even see him. He's running around high-fiving people and just like, it just had a different feel to it. It was nice.
Got that little Happy Gilmore feel to it.
But did you feel
it's like, come on, people,
Yeah, but did you feel different? And I just, because I actually texted him on whatever it was, the day of his last round, yesterday, I guess. And the words that I texted him were along the same lines, like, I'm having more fun than usual watching this. And I said, it's partly because you're a friend, I'm sure, but also you're not usually in the lead card leading event. So like there's multiple things to it. But it just felt different.
I'm pretty sure on the show, I've said it before, is that if Paul's not in contention to win it, I'm rooting for Simon. Like
have said that.
Simon's
second.
He's literally one of my favorite people to root for. He's one of my favorite people to play around with. I've played a couple tournaments with him now. He's just an all around super solid dude and
pretty good
great
at disc
to be
golf.
around. And just even outside of disc golf, like when him and I hang out, we can go the whole day without talking about disc golf, which is really nice. It's tough to do that with a lot of people, especially other disc golfers, when your whole life revolves around it. So Simon's really easy to root for, and he's given so many other people, because he has a massive social media platform, but look how many people he's brought into that and helped kind of not lift their careers, but in the sense of like giving them spotlight. Like he's gone out to casual C tiers and B tiers. He's vlogged with random people across New England. Like he does a lot of things for the community, to where he's really embraced living in Massachusetts as long as he has now. And it allows him to be someone very easy to root for in that regards.
And his fan following is probably, besides Paul and maybe Ricky, like he's got to have as many, if not more than even Ricky. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot.
I wonder if he has more than Ricky on Instagram or whatever. I'm not really sure.
As far as YouTube goes, Simon's like 150, 160,000. I mean, second to Paul maybe or whatever. But
no, he's got way more than Paul on YouTube.
Then who am I thinking?
On YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, like
the only one that has more than a YouTube one, I think, is Jomez, that has more than Simon.
Unless you count Brody in there, and he's got like 2 million. But that wasn't organically grown.
Yeah.
Okay, we got way off topic. There's still FPO to recap.
Yeah, of course. The story kind of was going into the final round. Paige Pierce led by 9 strokes. She's never lost an Elite Series or major event while leading by 5 or more. That was shared across social media and through the event. Natalie Ryan storms back, brings it to a tie, I think around hole 15 or 16, continues being aggressive, tries to go for the Peninsula Green on 17, lands just short, double bogeys it, and then also goes aggressive on 18 and falls just short. Paige Pierce stays clean, gets the win. So many things to draw. I don't even have the exact numbers, but I think that's her 31st Disc Golf Pro Tour win, which is unreal how many she's won.
Did you just say this third of the season too?
Third of the season. Yeah, it kind of wild. And a lot of talk will be about Kristen Tatar as well. She is back in Europe. Just to drop real quick, since the start of 2021 in majors, elite, and silvers, when Kristen Tatar is in the field, Paige Pierce has 11 starts with 3 wins for 27% win percentage. Without Kristen Tatar, she has 10 starts with 6 wins. That's 60%. 60% win percentage compared to 27 win percentage. Both are fantastic players. It was still incredibly exciting. Not trying to say you need Kristen Tatar to be exciting. Natalie Ryan brought that in the final round. It was an incredible watch. Paige takes it down. And Juliana Korver also gets a podium finish, and she shot a 991 rated round 2, which is the highest rated round in her career since September of 2009. What can you think
What
happened?
did you just say? 2000.
September of 2009. I think I was just getting into high school, so I wasn't
She
like
won in the Vibram Open or something.
Yeah, I'd have to look at what happened in 2009,
Pretty sure.
but still, like, that's so long ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. And she is killing it today. Yes, Juliana Korver, Jen Allen, and Owen Scoggins all finished in the top 10. That is your 2021 FPO Masters World Champion, Tim Selinsky US Masters Champion, and then World Champion in the Masters division. I might be mixing up the exact titles, but all 3 of those women won major hardware last year in FP 40, crushing it in FPO, all finished top 10. I think it's really incredible to see. We've all been asking for the depth of the FPO field for a while, and we definitely have it.
Yeah. And I think one of the really, really impressive things about this is it was on a golf course this past weekend, to where distance does have an advantage over it. I know there were a lot of low ceiling shots, which actually I was reading Juliana's daily kind of blog that she makes on her Facebook posts, and she was saying, she was like, a lot of these were low ceiling shots, and she loves throwing ridiculously low. So I think that kind of was an advantage for her. And then Owen Scoggins, who doesn't have a powerful backhand, but she's a phenomenal putter, arguably one of the best putters in FPO. And Jen Allen just has massive distance. So I think being able to execute that on a lot of the more open holes that course did have, I think just played to, in a way, it played to all of their strengths. Owen, I will say, Owen really impressed me the most out of that bunch. Juliana getting 3rd place is very, very impressive. But I think when it comes to the whole distance aspect of things, Owen squeaking in that top 10 and kind of keeping it competitive the whole time is super, super impressive to me.
Korver definitely impressed me the most here.
Yeah, and to share some
besides the win,
some interesting stats with that. You mentioned Jen Allen and Owen Scoggins. They tied for 7th place. Jen Allen's circle 2 in regulation was 54%. Owen Scoggins was 28%, almost half. But Jen Allen's circle 1X putting was 62%, while Owen's was 93%. 2 totally different styles of game, but finished the exact same place. And that's not even the only instance. Tied for 4th was Alexis Mandujano and Ella Hansen. Alexis Mandujano was 43% circle 2 in regulation. Oh my goodness.
I love this.
I do numbers, not
we gotta
words.
put together a compilation of it.
And then Ella Hansen, also tied for 4th, was 59% circle 2 in regulation. So that's 43% to 59%. But in circle 1X, Alexis Mandujano was 87%, while Ella Hansen was 50%.
Wow. It was interesting because I'm going to give you the other side of it, not the competition necessarily, but I generally, and you're hearing this twice now this season, I'm not super excited with the style of play. I'm stuttering because I enjoy seeing a good roller. Did you see Anthony Barella's in the last round? Like, perfect. It was near one of the last, it was back 9, throws it. How far was it? Anybody else see? It was like 400 feet, takes a nice turn, slow right turn, and then as it's rolling up the hill of the basket, takes a little left and dumps like right near the basket. Everyone goes wild. It's like, that's incredible. I like seeing that every now and then. Yeah. But when a tournament has so many rollers and rollers and rollers, it's, I guess if that's what the tournament is, it is. But generally, I don't love seeing this layout where I can't tell from the tee pad, like, where are they trying to go? Some are going up over the trees. Yeah. Some are going low. Some are like rollers. And you're like, I don't really know where you're trying to go because the first, it's a 1,000-foot hole. Like, just the first shot just has to move forward. I'm just giving the other side of it. I don't love that. I'm okay with it being once a year. I'm okay with seeing how it plays out like it did. I'm not taking anything away from the competitors. Just giving you that other feeling.
Well, I think what also kind of entails to what you're just talking about is that this was a redesigned course from last year. They made some changes to it. So even if you watch the coverage last year, like I agree with the same thing. It's like someone throws a big 450-foot sky hyzer, it lands down to left. Are they in a good position or not? And that's why they always have to go to the on-course commentary to Brian Earhart or Zoe
is that a
Andike.
good shot?
Was that a good shot? What's he looking at to the basket? Oh no, that actually was an awful shot. Or oh no, he's actually in the perfect landing zone. And then I'm like, that shot looked like absolute trash. But I think it definitely is tough to watch. But there are wooded disc golf courses that are really annoying and tough to watch.
I agree.
But so it is what it is. But I totally agree. It's not my favorite type of disc golf to watch, but at the same time, it's still enjoyable. Every single player's post that I've seen on Facebook or Instagram has given just absolute positive feedback towards the tournament staff and the Disc Golf Pro Tour for making this just, everyone is saying this is one of the most incredible events that they've ever been to. It was so professionally well ran. They had a ton of side activities to do while the players were in town. So shout out to Sean Jack and all the people over at the DGPT and at the OTB staff, because apparently they did an incredible job.
I'll personally say that I think it's my favorite active golf course on tour. As far as course, I think the low ceilings is kind of an interesting aspect that defines this. Each course throughout the year can have its own defining features. You don't want to see those same features over and over again. And I felt like last year we kind of saw golf course, and it kind of all felt similar. This year we're kind of getting different ones so far. I mean, DDO goes for really tough landing zones, but with lined OB, this one with the exact opposite in the sense that they didn't really have much lined OB, but it's a lot of low ceilings. And so it's a totally different aspect within a golf course. And I think that is cool. I want to see more of that. My only issue is, as a viewer, there's a few holes that were a little redundant. You saw the low ceilings, then you saw an OB golf green either before or after the basket with the basket on a kind of ridge hill. And as far as competitive play, that was probably greatly designed, was very good at getting the most out of the players. But it is important to design courses for the viewership and making, not every hole is going to be a signature hole of a course, but you don't want to kind of be like, oh, didn't I see this hole already? Or was it last round? And there's kind of, 4 to 6 or so that, like, if I went back, I wouldn't tell you which hole it was. It kind of all similar, but they also did put up, they call it ARDs/RPGs. I forget what the RPG stands for, but ARD being anti-roller device, which I think should have happened 5 years ago. But is just putting up logs on the ground. Really easy change to make it harder to roll. And also you can put it on half. So you can make a roller a possibility, but you have to have a controlled roller. You can't just throw it on any given angle and just have it get, 700 feet up the fairway. Like, you got to hit a landing zone with a roller and then have skill with the roller, which obviously getting distance on a roller is skill. But I think that was fantastic. I want to see more of that. Rollers are okay in my opinion. I just don't want to see on every hole. I think I want to see, hopefully, Portland Open do a better job at that, because last year Swenson at OTB Open did have rollers, but I felt like Portland had even more rollers.
So the thing about Portland, when we say that really quick, the thing about Portland really quick with that is that a big reason for that, I think, is because they extended the tee pads left and right by a few feet.
True.
Because of
I remember that
bad tee pads. And so it allowed players to tee off 3 feet to the left, which opened up that roller gap. So I think the intended lines that Dustin had made weren't supposed to be roller after roller after roller after roller. But I think because the Pro Tour ultimately allowed them to tee off 3 feet to the left, 3 feet to the right, whatever it was, opened up all those gaps.
True. And that was
I am hoping that this year we do not have to see roller after roller after roller.
That's right. We talked
But
about
I don't want to trash Dustin's course design, because I don't think that was meant to happen.
And this was a last minute, like, miracle pull off tournament. I feel like a miracle might be a strong word, but it was very last minute and they made it work. And so that was part of their, like, we'll give a little bit here because it wasn't planned out well. So we're going to give a little bit more range, and I'll let you guys have closing thoughts on this. But when you brought up Portland Open and being like, oh, I don't like that one as much, I'm reversed. And you feel like it's different because you were saying there's more rollers and I was just saying how I don't love it. I think the difference is with Portland Open's course is that I'm able to see generally where they're going because it's not as tree infested. Like there are more open fairways, so I can see where they're trying to get. Again, it's all personalities, opinions, and how we feel about it. But that's my preference.
I gotta say, I'm in Emporia Country Club's or DDO's defense when they do all the lined OB. I do think that if you're playing on a country club course, if hole 4 is going up 4's fairway on the golf course and hole 3 is coming down 3's fairway, if there's a potential chance that if you throw a roller on 4 and can land in 3's fairway, it needs to be OB. Like the golf courses, I feel like in all honesty should be littered with OB in the sense of like someone shouldn't be able to throw it 400 feet to the left when on any other disc golf course they're going to hit either 50 trees or whatever and not be penalized. You know what I mean? Like if they're throwing from a different fairway trying to get back onto theirs, I do think that should be OB.
Closing thought. If I ever was, how do I put this? If I was ever rooting against Calvin more than I have in the past, it was this last event. I'm like, come on, Simon.
Oh man.
I'm like, you can't do it. No, but I think the full like disc golf fan population was rooting against Calvin here. They wanted to see Simon win. And so I'm kind of being facetious and funny as always. It's become my shtick that I don't like Calvin. I'll keep it going. I'll have him over for tacos at the MVP Open and we'll call it good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll just say real quick. I wasn't trashing on Dustin's design. I know that was thrown really quickly together.
Yeah.
COVID's really, made a struggle on all of us in a lot of different ways. That whole event kind of happened late with all the getting permits and getting a property last minute. Totally understandable. They're going back to it this year for 2 rounds at Blue Lake as well. I think the property of Glendovier, the golf course, is fantastic. It looks beautiful.
It does look beautiful.
Actually, doesn't have as much elevation, but it reminds me of Glen Eagles, which is where San Francisco Open was, which now moved to Stockton.
And I liked that better than Swenson. It's just the appearance to me.
Yeah, and Swenson's a fantastic property with the low ceilings.
It's and probably great design.
It's totally different kind of trees where SFO was a lot of big redwoods, I'm assuming. In
Whatever.
I did
California.
really like the SFO coverage. I've watched that a couple times now. Yeah,
Glendovier has those really tall trees, not a lot of low branches, which I think is amazing for disc golf. You just got to make it work the best possible for on a golf course.
So why is the audience so large at this point in the show already? They heard Simon was here and then he dropped out, but you guys can stick around. We still got Paige Pierce lined up later, and we've got something real. Actually, you know what this could be? We've got another special guest lined up tonight from a totally different sport altogether. We did this with baseball, the MLB. We're now going to be bringing in somebody to talk about a different sport. Have you ever heard about it? Called Guts. Okay, if you haven't, you're going to know about it. We're not there yet, but I'm trying to understand why the audience is getting larger than it usually is at this point in the show. So like, share, let's keep growing.
Because I'm in studio and actually have good quality for once.
Someone said tonight, Nick gets studio jerky tonight.
Yeah, I know, right? Finally.
It's funny. You also had another weird comment about like, you look like Leonardo DiCaprio before or after he drowned in Titanic. I don't know. So I don't know. People are saying weird stuff in here.
I, for some reason, I was like, "Wow, this might be the nicest comment I've ever heard."
Then
it just started that.
Drowned.
We got so much flow happening right now between the two of you.
Yeah.
We got to have a flow contest.
I can't find the comment. If that was you could
it's
comment.
It's going to be remulleted.
It might
this
be
week
too late.
Probably.
Okay,
remullet it up.
So this is pretty cool show, but let's talk about it because we're all in studio now. I like this way better. It feels like I'm actually just talking to the room instead of
dang it, I guess I'll have to move back.
All right, Nick's gonna move back. I'm gonna try here. If we can go full screen, I always do this. We're gonna talk about DG Max Wax. And if I get the lighting just right, you can see the really cool embossed, however you say embossed look to it there. It says DG Max Wax. This wax, in all seriousness, I will say what I've heard for feedback, and if any of you have, go ahead and speak up. Feedback on this product has been, it really did help me. It really does work. I think some might be being a little funny when they say, I threw an ace after I tried it, although they probably did throw an ace after they tried it. I'm not saying this is going to get you an ace or a hole-in-one, but it's going to help you with your grip. It's going to enhance your grip, give you more confidence, so it's probably all part of it. It comes in that mini form, smells amazing. It also comes in this snap stick, which I always hold up and get it to focus in. It's beautiful there. It stays in your pocket easily. You rub it on your fingers and you get incredible snap. In fact, I'm going to talk to Will and from Guts, and I'm going to tell him about this product. I wonder if they have something like this over there. DG Max Wax. Have you had anybody talk to you about the product? What's your feelings on this? Ben, Evan, Nick, what do you think?
A couple people actually in the Lynchburg area where I live now have picked some up, and they said they're really, really liking it. They enjoy it, especially now that we're getting into the pretty humid stages of the year. So a lot of players are carrying around, I don't want to false advertise saying that the DG Max Wax is not going to completely dry your hand.
It's not a drying product.
Like use a towel, use a birdie bag, but then use the DG Max Wax right after to get that extra grip in your fingertips. And then that's going to give you the confidence.
Yeah, and
using it
smells great.
Exactly. And the smell of it is amazing. But
and
no,
it's supposed to have an essential oil.
Yeah,
it's essential oils in there, which whether you like or hate essential oils, you got to love the smell of it. And it's supposed to help calm you and center you and all that. So that's excellent.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the Snap Stick, the little, chapstick bottle of the product. It's super easy. If you own a store, like you go to like any gas station or anything, and they have all the stuff just sitting at the right at the checkout. It's so easy to pop it open and put it there. I saw one at Marshall Street a couple weeks back of the Snap Stick. I'm like, that's so easy. Like if I run out, like I can just like walk up to any place and just boom right there.
I've said
get
that.
it and go. I'll also say Hans from Statmando, he used code Nick and Nat for this as well.
Nice.
I haven't heard back from him if he's tried it or not. He's dealing with a foot injury, so he doesn't get out too much as of late.
He does it for the shout outs. Let's see what else we can get him to buy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. If you have a code, let me know and I'll pass it along to Hans.
Well, we have another one later. We'll get him to use.
All right.
So that is a DG Max Wax. Ben said last week or 2 weeks ago. He's back, by the way, everybody. Show him your face. You're alive. You're well.
I do want to say sorry. We didn't have time for a cool background. It'll be back up.
What are you saying? My background's not that cool?
Someone commented that they hope I have a good background, and
it's good. It's good. It's an off
not
week.
unique.
It's an off week. We were so
he's not partying or he's not in Italy this week.
We were so last minute on the show's start. Like we had it planned out, but a lot of things came together right at the
parties.
Not gonna lie, we were having a pizza party, guys. We were throwing discs out in the yard with the kids. We honestly just really slacked off, and we were like, "Whoa, holy crap! It's 6:40. We should probably get downstairs." We came down. I started playing the piano.
Had to restart the computer. It was a big deal.
I sat down at 6:55, and
Anyways, but it's fun. It's fun as long as the live audience doesn't care. We are a few minutes late, so. Let's do this. Nick, we have up to about 15 minutes, but we don't need to use it all. But Ben, would you give us the intro?
Bring us in.
Does he remember what the intro is?
Yes.
He's away for 1 week.
Dude. This is the Discura discussion.
Perfect.
All right,
Take it away,
everybody.
Nick.
So for the Discura discussion this week, we actually had something completely different lined up, but then we started talking down here, having our own discussion, and we're like, yo, let's make that the Discura discussion. So I think generally what we want to talk about actually is amateur versus pro in the sense of...
Give a scenario. Give the scenario that started our conversation.
So...
You don't have to use names.
No, I'm trying to think how not to. So let's say...
Big tournament.
Let's say John Doe is a 990 rated amateur. Goes out, he plays pro tournaments, but does not accept cash. He's doing everything legitimately under the PDGA guidelines and the PDGA rules to be classified as an amateur because he wants a shot at Am Worlds, at
and he's
Am
16
Nationals,
or 17.
And he's only been playing for 2 or 3 years.
Exactly.
Young kid, 16, 17 years old, only been playing for a few years.
Gannon Burr we're talking about. No.
Yeah. And then kind of getting, some crap talked about him from another person. Because
playing in AM1.
Because he's playing AM1 as like a 991 rated player. He's won pro events, didn't accept cash, but he kicked butt at them. The first round of the SAM event, he shot like a 1050 rated round, just absolutely murdered a course. Like, if anything, he's doing everything correct. So this is where we were talking about earlier. When is it kind of like, when do you, if there's ever going to be, is there ever going to be a point where you have to move up to pro? Now, I think right now, I look at it as like, no, I'm just going to give my take on it really quick. I look at it as like, but he's doing this really, really cool thing where he's going out and he's playing pro events. He's not accepting cash at them. A majority of the events that John Doe is playing is
Paul Macbeth.
Yeah. Shout out to our buddy Paul Kranz. I'll give his name out there.
Paul Kranz,
tremendous,
great kid,
tremendous disc golfer,
kick-ass player, has great form. Simon's posted saying he's got incredible
Paul
form.
Kranz.
Yeah. Anywho, he's going out and a majority of the events that he plays are pro events. He's doing exceptionally well at them this year. but then he's still allowed to play amateur events. So why not go play an amateur A tier? Why not go play Am Worlds? Why not go play Am Nationals? Try to get those titles that are pretty. We still talk about Anthony Barella's world titles.
We talk about
US
everybody's.
Titles.
Everybody's.
You know, it's
Nate
something
Sexton.
that it sticks with you.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of sad when I first started playing. When I played my like first or second pro tournament and they said, yeah, you won $55. I was like, well, damn, I need gas money. Yeah, I handed over. And then boom, I accepted cash. Like I never took the whole amateur kind of side of things seriously. So like, that's just my take on it. I think he's doing perfectly fine. Yeah.
So here's my take on it. And I would be glad to discuss further, but I'm going to let others have the floor here. My take is literally, and maybe I haven't thought through this well. Here it comes. It's coming out. Is you should never have to play up. Ever. I feel like, well, no, beyond the highest amateur level. Like if you're in like rec and you're 980, like I think they do have caps. They do have caps for those divisions. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But when you get to Am, there should be no cap. And my thought is if you're 990 or if you're 1010, you're 1020 and you want to just keep playing Am, that's on you. Like it should be called Am Open. Like nobody should ever be forced to go pro. That's my mindset. Will people be upset at you because you're so good that you should go play pro? Sure. But like, if it's Am Open, I don't want to play pro. That's not who I am. I don't want to like, that's just my take on it. Now, a lot of people won't like that.
Well,
but
I think the only reason that we would say anything is because ratings are actually a thing. If there was no ratings, I don't think this conversation would be going the way that it is right now.
True.
If we didn't know Paul was 991 or shooting a 1050 rated round or anything like that, we would have no basis of like, you know, that's where like a world rankings thing would really have to come into play or stuff like that. Like things would be completely different if ratings were not a thing.
What other sport would it be weird? I'm just trying to think out loud. Like you play so good, you cannot play amateur. Like
none.
You can't play amateur. Like your local, like
Maybe
I'm
tennis?
thinking,
I don't know.
No, like let's just go like softball. Like your local league. Like the guy just smashes. Every hit is a home run. They're like, you aren't welcome back here. You're too good. You have to play professional. Like it would be weird.
Okay, well, that scenario does happen pretty often, and it causes the same issues.
Give it to
so
us.
it's not just in a general statement. I don't have any specifics, but like you hear that happening plenty of times where someone's so good that they just don't want them playing in leagues. Hey,
I'm not saying people don't want them.
When I played like I was like probably like 10 to 12-year-old soccer, we would play the same tournament every year as an invitational. They just invited all the teams around. We got stopped in getting invited because we won it like 2 years in a row. And like, so we just played a different tournament. And like, I mean, that was 1 year. Like it just happens. Like sometimes people don't want the people who are winning. It does cause drama in all those ones. I'm not saying it's right or wrong for this scenario.
Okay. This is my last thing. I get that there's a perspective from either a league or teams in that league or individual players in that league that don't want to play up against people that are just slaughtering them, killing them, performing way better. The league could say, hey, we don't like the perception of that. The players could say, we don't want you back. They might not invite you back, all these things. But I'm saying I don't like the idea, and I haven't thought about this a lot, that player, you have to play pro. I would be like, let's just call it Am Open. Anybody that wants to play there that doesn't want to be pro, that's Am Open. Play there. There you go. That's my take. I'm done. Whatever you guys have.
I get that.
I think you have some good points, Nick.
Yeah.
So,
well, I feel like there's got to be a point. And I think the only reason that I'm saying that is because ratings are an actual thing that we have in disc golf right now. So say, Matt, say you get to 995,000 rated by the end of like 2 years from now. If you hold that 990 plus rating for more than 1 year with an amateur status, I think after that 1 year is up, that's kind of like your 1 year to go do the Am Worlds, go do the Am Nationals. After that 1 year, if you still hold, let's say, a 990 plus rating, you're automatically considered now professional. You are almost a scratch golfer in a sense.
What do they call that again? I keep forgetting the name of it. We talked about it. Europe, not a premier pro, whatever they called it. It's in the PDGA. I forget what they called it now. It's not a touring pro.
Oh yeah, we're talking about. I think it was
Premier Pro. Okay, I was right.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that. Like at some level, you've already at that point. I think you've chosen to be pro because you've earned X amount of dollars, which is like $5,000, and you're a certain rating. I kind of feel like you've chose that path. But if you're a player who's just extremely good, not accepting cash, and it's kind of weird to me. What's the reason to not let them play? Because people are like, I can't win. Is that why? Like, what is the reason to not let them play Am? Is it like, what do you think, Ben?
Well, I will say the only reason he's not accepting cash is because of the amateur worlds, national. He's going to travel to Michigan or wherever they are. And that's the only reason. Because of the rules, he wants to, contend at those events. And once he accepts cash, he won't be able to. So for now, he's going to stay amateur until he can play those events. And then who knows, after next year, that's a different discussion on what he decides. But I think he should be able to stay what he wants to stay.
Yeah.
No one should care.
I bet you right after the Am Worlds, Am Nationals, new next generation amateur disc golf tour, whatever that it's called now, I'm sure after he plays all those big events one time, I don't think he's going to stay in Am until he wins Am Worlds. I mean, he's too good of a player right now to do it one time, see how it goes. If you win it, great. If not, start collecting some money. Especially if you want to take it a little serious, you're going to have to save up some bills, especially with how friggin' much gas is right now.
And I said I was done, but if I'm playing that good at such a high level, at some point, where's my feelings going to be? Like, as a pride level, I'll be like, yeah, I'm just so good. It's just so easy to come out here. Like, why wouldn't I move up to pro? That's another question.
But that's your competitive nature.
That's what
I was going to say that to where
but
it's
how
like,
could
why
somebody
wouldn't
else
you want to? But there are those people in the world who are like, I'm fine with beating up on the other amateurs, or like, they may consider themselves a fluky player.
Okay,
like,
let me ask you this then, because this is another protected division based off of age. People used to ask this all the time when I was doing kids disc golf, like, well, that kid shouldn't be allowed to play in junior 8 because he is like 920 rated and everyone else is like 400 rated. And I'm going, but his age is like totally fine.
Yeah.
He's destroying everybody, but his age is fine.
Yeah.
So should he be made to move up in divisions to like, he has to play AM2 because he's so good. I'm saying this whole conversation of having to move up, you should be able to play wherever you're invited to play.
Upset that their kid's not that good.
Wherever you're invited to play, you should be allowed to play. Now, the conversation goes way bigger than that. We saw some things this weekend that people want to talk about. I don't think we're ready to talk about it tonight, but wherever you're invited to play, you should be able to play. Let people figure out if the competitive advantages are unfair. In fact, I was going to make a letter recommendation to the PDGA with junior divisions that maybe they could do something like, and now this gets a little outrageous, but you know how there's novice, rec, AM2, AM1? I think they should have, maybe not right out of the gate, but all of those divisions for every junior division. So you have your 8-year-old who's like brand new, like week 1, week 2.
Junior 8,
but you also
AM3.
have a junior 8 who's been playing since he was 4, and he's actually really good. And he's like, I don't want that kid to have to play against a 1 week long 8-year-old. You know what I mean?
Well, do you think the 8-year-old
game.
is really that upset if he gets smacked by 50 strokes? No, it's the dad who gets upset that his kid got smacked by 50
but the
strokes.
TDs, this is turning into a way different conversation, but the TDs have to plan out a course that's appropriate for an 8-year-old that can throw 220 feet and a kid who can only throw 100. It just, this pace of play, I mean, there's just a lot that goes into it. Just like you would design a course different for pros
even if there wasn't,
versus AM.
No matter what, they're doing that anyways. They're planning out that course for the kid who can throw 200 feet versus the kid who can only throw 80 feet.
But my point is, if you designed a pro layout for an AM2 division, it's going to be a bad tournament and bad round. I'm saying you have to plan it to the competition.
Yeah.
Long story short, would you have any closing thoughts on this year discussion? Because this was fun.
I'll say this. If you're a grown adult, don't freak out at a young kid who's playing amateur, who's doing everything right by the PDGA rules. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'll end my discussion with
Chat
that.
is fired up. Let's go.
I'll hop in here for my opening thoughts, but I'm just joking. You guys were doing great there. I do fully agree with all y'all. But I will say, I think there is a discussion to have, it's already a thing, but having like the colored tiers essentially, where you have everyone sign up, no divisions or anything. You just have everyone sign up, and then you break it out the groups essentially based on how the kind of ratings fall. I mean, if you have pro and accepting cash, that's one thing too, but you just have people in a chunk together. You have the top 20 rated people, and then you have the 21st to 40 rated person, and then going, does that make sense? Hopefully I'm explaining it correctly, but that way, if you are, let's say the 990 AM playing MA1 and open, you would be like the 3rd best open player. You're going to play with all the open people. You're still going to decline cash. That's a situation that I don't think should happen everywhere, but should happen more often. It shouldn't be choosing where you play and then fighting over it. Like, I mean, it's the nature of competitive disc golf that we're all, talking about and generally playing. but I think we can have a lot more tournaments that are competitive, but then kind of grouped in a better way. So we never have like kind of the sandbagger talk move up. That's one part. And then two, I'll say is just, it's super regional dependent. I think it's really hard to have a qualifier to either move up or down based on rating when you have hotbeds like Texas, Charlotte, maybe California. And then you have places like Massachusetts and the rest of New England where ratings are a lot lower, where if I played in Texas, I would probably struggle to be well in MA3, but here I'm, can finish top third in MA2 pretty regularly. It's just different of locations. This person, they might be running away with MA1 kind of often or finishing top three very often. But if you go to a different hotbed, they would be like middle of the road. I don't actually know the situation specifically, but it's just tough with regional dependency. Like you just got to kind of think how it fits for all the country. I don't know. It's kind of hard to put it all into words.
Yeah.
I think
no, I totally
Nick,
get
you
that.
summed it up well. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't ridicule people.
Yeah.
That was good takes, everybody. Really good takes,
Cool.
actually.
Well, so that'll conclude the Disc Gear discussion. If you're looking for some awesome disc golf apparel like this lifestyle sweatshirt that I'm wearing, go to discgeardg.com. Use code Nick and Matt. 10% off your order. Close us out, Ben.
This has been a great Disc Gear discussion, for that matter.
Well, I'm home this week. Can we go through all of our sound bites and actually make something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's so funny. We have all these like intros and segments.
We have
and,
fire emoji things that come on the screen.
We have all
and I
these
can't
like
even get a
professional
discussion.
voiceovers, but Disc Gear gets the boo boo boo. Okay, that's so funny. All right, I just cracked open a bag of. This is the first time, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, it's the first time I'm going for the original flavor of Double G craft jerky. I am gonna give it a go. I'm like a flavor, like I love lots of flavor, and I'm excited to crack in.
1 week we come, we're not opening up like garlic lovers or anything.
Hold on.
Like that.
Hold on.
I'm just kidding. I just
First
love
bite.
jerky.
I'm sorry to eat on camera and chew into the microphone, but first bite, I'm actually blown away. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, authentic reaction. I'm interested in yours. The flavor. Is original flavor like an actual like flavor that they put on there? Or is this like just like not like plain jerky? Because it actually is a great flavor. What do you think?
100% has a flavor.
All right,
This
Ben.
is okay. Quick side talk. Everyone hates on vanilla ice cream. Vanilla is a flavor and it's fantastic. It's one of my
Amazing.
favorite.
I go to
ice
McDonald's all the time and get a cone.
cream. It's so good.
Yes.
So don't hate on vanilla. Vanilla is good. This original jerky tastes really good.
That's what I'm saying. Wow.
It had flavor. Just because it's the default doesn't mean it's bland and boring. It's fantastic.
Does
So,
it describe
I'll
on
say-
the packaging what the flavor is besides original?
I don't know.
Does it say
I'll
anywhere?
check it
Like,
out.
let me see. You can read it if you want, Ben, or I can see.
It's a
He's chewing jerky.
original. Oh, sorry, Mike. Original beef jerky, natural smoke flavor added.
Okay.
Which I have no idea what that means. How do you naturally add smoke? But he did
You
it.
smoke
He
it.
did it.
You
He
smoke
literally
the
did
meat.
It's the act of
Smoking meat.
Ben's a child. What was I gonna say? Oh, one of my favorites. So the flavor is incredible with this, and we talk about the flavor every single week with Double G stuff. But the flavor of this one, what I really, really like too, is almost
Wow.
the like integrity of the piece of jerky. Like it's not rubbery and it's not super crunchy.
Mm-mm.
Like it's a good happy medium where like if you go to the gas station and sometimes you buy a pack and it comes out really rubbery.
Or
And
super
it's also like
salty.
$55 in my firstborn child to buy one pack of it. But this
For
one,
two
like, it's got a
pieces.
really good, I don't know, you call it texture, integrity.
Everything's good
I
about
don't really
it.
know what you call it.
It's
but like,
not like chewing dried
good.
leather.
Yes,
It's better than that.
And
Way
it tastes
better.
good.
So here's the flavors. McBee's Barbecue
Nick and Matt.
Original, which I just had for the first time ever, and it's fantastic. Hot Boom Sauce, Teriyaki, Smashed Cracked Pepper, Garlic Lover's Dream, Paul's Max Weight, Nate Sexton, Sweet and Spicy. They're talking about other products. They do players packs. And we've said this already a few times. If you're getting a players pack and you've played for a lot of years and you have all these discs, you'd rather get jerky in your players pack that you can crack open during the round. Everybody's happy with that. In fact, the hat I'm wearing, it's getting a little dirty, but you get these hats in the players pack. My favorite hat as of late. They do wholesale, and they do charity. Check them out. Double G Craft Jerky. Use code Nick and Matt. You get a gift. It's not a percentage off. For the guy who got back to us, he's like, I think I got like a penny off, like 1 cent off. using Nick and Matt. And first of all, I don't know how that happened. Second of all, you get a gift. Let them surprise you. Some gift in there. Maybe they'll throw you like unused packet of mayonnaise or something. Like that'd be cool.
Maybe you get 2 packs of jerky.
Something. Yeah, Nick's throwing it out there. I don't know if they get free packs of jerky, but you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You might get $1 billion.
You got to just try. You got to try. And they have all this cool stuff. We love them over there. Go check them out and purchase their product. We've gotten to this point in the show. We're actually on time somehow, some way. And we're going to work our way through this. It's an interview like never before because in a lot of ways, we've never interviewed somebody that's outside of the sport of disc golf. The good news here is that it's still inside of the sport of flying discs. And so with that being said, I think, let's say without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in William Walden. And if I'm correct, the president of the Guts Player Association. Let's bring him in. Oh, hold on a second. We're already starting out. Oh, you can put it back up. Do it. Put it back up. Okay.
I'm out.
We started out with a video playing here. I'm going to keep it kind of playing. We'll just keep things looping here until we get bored, and we're going to just talk a little bit about what's happening.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, welcome to the show. We can hear you great. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk about what you've got going on with Guts.
I'm out.
How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm a bit tired. I slept like an hour last night to catch
Got him.
from the OTB Open area to San Francisco. So
I'm out.
it's been a long day. I'm back in Michigan.
Okay. Yeah, and I love our live chat because look at this over here, man.
Yeah.
We messed up a few things already, but that's okay. We had audio playing apparently that people were hearing, which is fine. It wasn't too bad, I'm sure. So you were at the OTB Open. Did the tournament reach out and invite you out there? And we still want to find out what Guts is, but did they invite you out to that tournament?
Yeah, so OTB invited us out to put on a Guts demo. I think it all kind of happened when they were talking to in a meeting with MVP, and one of our guys is really big in the Guts community and also works for MVP, and talked a little bit about it, and they garnered some interest and like, yeah, come on out and do a demo. So we had the community had a community fundraiser, and everybody kind of pitched in, and we got to make it out without paying for much. I mean, I think I overall probably paid like $200.
That's not bad at all.
So
yeah,
I've got a few videos here lined up because we were scrambling, and I think you might have heard a little bit of that right before the show. We had a lot going on. Simon was able to jump in. I had to restart my computer, the whole thing. But we made it work. I have a few videos lined up here, but would you just introduce to us in the most basic way what Guts is for our listeners who can't see videos or anything else? What's Guts? How do you explain it to the average person?
Yeah, so Guts is a high energy and fast paced game of catch. You play to 21 points, and to score, you throw a lighter and pretty flexible 110 gram disc as hard or as tricky as you can at the other team in hopes that they catch it. A typical defensive line is 5 guys lined up fingertip to fingertip, and you have to throw it within their reach for it to be considered a good shot. If you throw it outside of the reach, like if it's too high or if it's too wide or if it doesn't make the line, that's considered a dump, and you just gave a point to the defense.
Is there a play in Guts called the dump and run by any chance?
There's something close to that actually, where so I actually wanted to talk about the defense part of Guts a little bit, but I wrote up a little like description of what it feels like to catch that I wanted to give to you guys.
Perfect. Read it. And I didn't mean to throw you off, but Evan 2 weeks ago came up with a play in disc golf that's called the dump and run. And no, it's coined here. And as soon as you said the word dump, I said we have to ask. So give us that description. What's it like to catch?
To complete that thought, a common theme is like you get so fired up from a catch that now that you caught it, you have to throw back. And when you you're so pumped up from that catch that you dump your next throw. So it's like kind of the reverse of a dump.
That's a run and dump.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Catch and
That's where we
dump.
go.
Okay,
Catch
so
and dump.
so the way that I've understood guts to be, and this is just my take on it, and then I want you to break it down further. Like, what does it feel like to catch one of these discs, and what happened at OTB Open? But generally, I picture, 5 people lined up facing each other. And I don't know all like the course requirements or the layout or whatever you'd call it, the playing area. But in general, my understanding is I want to throw that frisbee. I call it a frisbee. Do you call it a disc or a frisbee?
Disc.
Okay.
So frisbee is trademarked, so we can't actually use that word.
Okay, same as disc golf. Great. So
Gotcha.
you throw a disc that's in very essence of like a backyard frisbee is how I understand it. Lightweight, 100 and you said 10 grams. And I'm going to just throw that as hard as I can at the other 5 people in a way that generally they could reach it or grab it. That's my general understanding. It has to be in the playing area. And I can just like throw it right at them, like aim for their face or whatever I want to do. Is that fair?
Oh yeah. Yep. You want to try and make it so they can't catch it. So yeah, as hard
Wow.
as you freaking can, like blast that full power backhand at them. And we definitely had some pros throw at us this weekend. I was really hoping to see Simon throw at us. He said he was going to, but he would only throw 80%. But I'm guessing after the tournament, after he won it, he probably got too busy like signing autographs or whatever. But I would say that out of all the people that I saw come and throw at us, Anthony Barilla was probably the fastest shot I've ever seen in my life. Actually,
Wow.
like that dude has some heat.
So that must have been neat. So there's so many questions to ask here. I want to eventually find out like your background and connection to disc golf. You mentioned a few things there. I think originally Wes Shinovar actually connected me to you, and he's out of Discraft area. But I want to hear a few more things on like the strategy here. We'll just see how the conversation flows. You said, yes, make it as hard as possible for them to catch. Tell us what are some of the tricks and tips to do that? Like I mentioned aiming at their face, but there has to be obviously more to this. Like, are you trying to pick areas really low to the ground? Are you trying to pick just high enough where it's their full extension? Are you aiming at their body? Like where are you aiming and what type of angles are you throwing?
So offensively, there's a couple different ways to think about it. First off, a perfect reach is you're standing flat-footed and you reach straight up. And at the very tip of your reach, if you can throw a disc like right where it hits their fingertips, that is considered like almost a perfect spot. But the actual perfect spot is called the box. So if I reach straight up, that is a horizontal line going this way. If I reach straight out to the side, there's another horizontal line marking my reach, the extent of my reach sideways. But where those 2 points meet, right in the corner there's a box that I can't reach if I reach diagonally. And if you can hit that spot, that's called the box. There's 4 boxes in each corner of your reach that you can't get to unless you jump if you go up, or if you kind of dive downwards to try and get the lower boxes. So those are like the best spots to throw. And usually like in the finals of a tournament, if you want to win, you have to hit a good spot. You can't throw it at for top level players, you can't throw it in their bag zone, as we call it, which is basically like waist area at their chest. Like they don't have to move their hands very far. So
okay.
And also a good offensive throw has usually they say has 2 or 3 things. It's fast, it moves, or it's accurate. And if you're really good, you've got all 3 of those.
Awesome. So, well, let me ask this question then. You just led me right to it. How good are you? You're the president of the Guts Player Association. What's your history? And would you say you are ranked at some level in the sport?
That's a tricky question, and I would be a little biased, but
come on. I think I did a little research. Top 10 in the world, maybe, with this game.
Yeah, I would personally vote that I'm top 10 in the world.
Oh.
I'm definitely not number 1. I have my opinion on who number 1 is, and
will you cause controversy as a president of this association if you say who's number 1?
No, I think number 1 is Josh Tews.
There you go, Josh. Shout out.
He lives in Utah. he's just a phenomenal player. Like everything he does is gold. Like he has great movements off the line. As soon as the disc is hitting his teammates and it's not at him, he's diving out front to catch that rebound. Even if it doesn't actually come down, he's still out there out front. Great hands, probably one of the fastest shots, and he's a lefty too, so that kind of mixes it up. And he's just an all-around great guy. So
okay, I want to get
vote.
these videos up playing for our viewing audience. Let's see if the audio comes back up. If it does, we got to shut it off. Let me see. Okay, doesn't look like there's audio.
Cupcake.
I apologize, but okay. I'm glad you guys know who that is.
We
He's
know
got
who that
a really
is.
fast backhand.
Jacob Cordis.
So he throws, and he throws another one that's smoking.
Here's
comes
Anthony
in.
Barella. This is probably one of the shots you're talking about.
Yeah, he hits me with this thing. Look at this.
There we go. AB just rips it with everything.
I don't know if
he's
you
got.
can see the speed of that, but that had to have been like 94 miles an hour.
We know AB, so when we see that coming out.
I know years and years ago, Will Schustrick did a video where he was throwing a guts disc, and this is long time ago, and I'm pretty sure he absolutely smashed it.
Watch this. Body shot right here.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Let me see what else we have for
chest.
clips here. Here's another one. See if I can make it just a hair bigger.
So this is from the exhibition. That's the first throw of the game. That was Ryan Scott, one of my longtime teammates from the Boomtown Saints. This is an epic showdown to us and the Guts community because we've never gotten to play 3-on-3 before, and this is we're just all like really top level players, and I think a lot of people are excited to see this. I know a lot of people have asked to see the footage already.
Oh wow, so this is kind of exclusive footage that we're watching here.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so tipping, I saw tipping.
So you're allowed to move your feet, you don't have to stand still.
Right. Once they let go of the disc, you can move. Okay. Just when they release the disc, you have to be on the line.
So you get the disc back if you catch it.
Wow.
Yep. So that shot was called a staker, and he kind of holds it with it upside down with his thumb, and like has an upwards air bounce with it that makes it dip down.
Okay, give us the terminology that sounds fun, like words that are not for people in the sport. Like we say hyzer, anhyzer, thumber, all these words. Like give us a list of words and guts.
All right. So releases, we call them backhand, forehand. But then there's a flipper, which is where you hold it with your thumb and release it upside down, and then it flips upside right. Then
right.
There's a thumber. There's a thumber where you kind of hold it, the bottom of the disc inside your palm, grip it real tight, and then you kind of like throw it like a baseball, and it dips really hard. And then there's the staker, the fish hook. Ryan Scott throws a really mean fish hook where he creates an air bounce, kind of the opposite way that I do with my flipper.
I love these words.
Okay, we got dumps. Let's see what else.
A run and dump.
I actually have, if you don't mind, I'd like to describe this defensive thing that I got going on. All right. So
wow.
So what I had written down was that all the pros that threw at us really loved ripping the shots at us. And I mean, if they wanted to come play Guts, they're going to be just naturally great at offense. But nobody was wanting to try out defense. Like they didn't want to be on the other side to like catch that. And Gannon summarized what I think most people's initial concerns about defense are when he said, "I don't want to mess up my hands." So that's a common misconception about Guts, in my opinion, though, because I understand his concern, but the truth is it's mostly painless, and catching a great throw is one of the best feelings that I've really ever experienced in a Frisbee sport, and it really gets you fired up. It's hard to describe the feeling, but it probably feels like scoring a touchdown. And this is my description of what it feels like to catch. So let's imagine this catching business for a second. First off, you get to wear NFL receiver gloves, which makes it easier to catch and takes a lot of the bite off of the throw. But if you're willing to go on an imaginary journey with me here, imagine you're standing on a Guts line. You've got 4 teammates lined up on either side of you, and there's an audience surrounding your match. The score is 19-19. You played a 21, and the other team's best thrower, let's pretend it's Simon Lizotte is lining up on you, and you're about to have to be at your peak mental state to catch it. So he X steps up to you and rips this amazingly fast backhand at you. You give it all you got and just like go at the frisbee, try to bag it, and in the blink of an eye, you realize that it's stuck in your hand and you caught it. And you stopped his chance to score. Suddenly, in the Guts world, the crowd will go nuts. The crowd just erupts. They cheer. They're shouting your name. Your teammates are dancing and shouting around you. They're patting you on the back. And inside, a fire just like lit inside of you as your body is reacting to the adrenaline high. Touchdown, right? So for the next minute, you're the most badass person on the field. Like you can let your freak flag fly. You can like spike the disc, like hold it up in the air like it's a trophy, or like a lot of people will like show it to the guy who threw it. But like, yeah, look at that, caught that. And flair is a big part of the game. So that's kind of what it's like to catch a frisbee, like especially in like late tiers of the tournament, like when you have like a big crowd, just bagging somebody's greatest shot is like, it feels like you just got on fire, and I have goosebumps right now just recalling
Dude,
it.
He's probably reminiscing on the days
Okay.
that like something big like that happened.
We've never had a guest.
Oh, yeah,
We've
for
never
sure.
had a guest where we've all just sat there like calmly, like just listening to this description, and the chat's like, dude, like, and Ben's going, close your eyes, y'all. Just imagine what he's talking
Some
about.
ASMR going on.
That's incredible. Yeah,
So
that's,
I gotta talk to me about the tournaments. I mean, you saw OTB Open for the disc golf side of things. You know, however many spectators were at that event. Talk to me about these Guts tournaments. How often do they happen? You know, all that stuff.
Sure. So in the summertime, starting around, well, we have our first indoor tournament in March usually, but then in June there's a tournament in Wisconsin, and then there's like a tournament once a month until October. There's one in October in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that's kind of the last one of the season usually. And most of these are associated with the USA Guts Players Association, or I think they're just called USA Guts, but they're like the governing body for the sport, and they're affiliated with WIFDF, which is the World Flying Disc Federation. So anyways, you can win money. I think the biggest payout is usually either Marquette, the US Nationals, which is my favorite tournament. It's so great. Like, it's at a lake. There's a campground. You could bring your camper or a tent, just set up there. They have like food trucks and live bands, and the atmosphere is so great. Like, the community is actually one of my favorite things in Guts, because you can be like opponents on the line with this high intensity match, and then off the line, you like go off the line, drink beer with these guys, and go like jump off the rope swing and off the cliffs of into Lake Superior or whatever. And it's such a great venue. But there's also the IFT, and the payout for that is usually like $2,000 as a purse, which is usually just enough to cover your expenses for getting there and back. But
it sounds like,
yeah. So that's exactly what I was genuinely curious of. I mean, if you're having tournaments once a month, are the other tournaments, are they paying out $800, $1,000, or do they all kind of average around $1,500 to, let's say, $2,500?
I think it ranges between 1,000 and 2,000,
Okay.
typically. And then once every 4 years, we have a Worlds tournament. So every 3 years, it's called the USA Guts Open now. But once every 4 years, there's a Worlds qualifier event, and the winning team of that gets to go. Last time it was like the Netherlands, and before that it was London. But it's kind of like a 4-year tournament that is run by WIFDF, and you get to go there and compete. It's not for money or anything; it's just for glory. But you can say you're a world champion. If
Are
you win.
you a world champion?
I'm not. I did get to go in 2016. I played on USA Team Red, which was basically like the B team. I was also younger then, and I didn't have. I was kind of like growing in the sport. I didn't develop my fast backhand that I have now. I've had a lot of personal growth since then, and I'm really proud of that, to put me where I'm at right now. But yeah, back then I was not. But the other two guys that were on my team, actually every single person in this demo that you saw in that video, they're all world champions. They were
that's
there in
sick.
2016, and they all teamed up and won.
So
Japan is actually our biggest competitor. Usually,
Wow.
they have a huge Guts community.
I don't want to
And
go
they have a
against
lot of-
Japan.
They have a lot of women's teams too, which I think is really cool. I'm actually I traded jerseys with one of the women teams players. I don't know if you can see the Guts thing here, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
So
Nice.
it sounds like there's so many correlations to like disc golf. Okay, so it's a flying disc sport. The community sounds generally similar in what you were describing. I would imagine the percentages, tell me if I'm wrong, the percentages of women to men are probably pretty different, right? As far as how many are playing.
In the US, for sure. In
Okay.
Japan, it's
Awesome.
pretty close. There's a lot of women teams.
Awesome.
And there used to be more women's teams in the US.
Okay. And as far as Nick and Matt show becoming like a team that could compete, like what do we have to do? Can we just like check a box
Well,
and say
so-
we're pro now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nick knows where I'm going with this. I think you sat through that conversation, William, in our green room. But like generally, like what does it take to become pro? Is there divisions, or like can we just say, hey, we want to compete against your team?
We have had divisions before at certain tournaments, but typically it's just everybody can play,
Okay.
and they're all at the same playing level.
All right.
If we get
Let's go.
enough teams, then. But that would be amazing if you guys came out and played. I'm sure you guys would have a blast.
I know
Are you
we
guys
would.
are you guys gonna do a
great.
demo when like D-Glow happens in July at the
Ooh.
toboggan course?
I'm sure we could probably make it happen. We've done that.
I'll actually
We've done
be
one there
there.
before.
Yeah, exactly.
do it.
I'm going. I
Um,
would love to try to catch you throwing a guts disc
Yeah.
at me. I would.
You want to try and catch?
I'll
Yeah,
play
I'll give it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll
try.
be lucky if I get 60th place at the tournament. So I'm not worried about my hands. Believe me.
Well,
And like William was
I
saying
would happily-
earlier, like
I get smashed by it. I don't care. Like
No.
I would love to like and we've talked about this before too, where I want just the average Joe to run against Usain Bolt in
Yes,
the Olympics,
yeah.
and I just want to see how vastly different
yeah.
it is. And so, like, yeah, 100%. I would love to get a guts disc absolutely whipped at me and
Well,
try to catch it. It'd be
my
sick.
point is also
That's
like,
awesome.
so if I got to do offense and defense against William and his team, would I be more excited if I scored a point? Is that the term, a point goal? If you make it through and they don't catch it?
Yeah. So, in my opinion, I think that acing somebody,
Okay.
like that's a term where you throw it by them and they don't touch it. Nobody touches
Wow.
it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Especially if you ace between two people, like they both were reaching for it, but neither of them touched it. That's a good feeling. That's like, wow, I threw something that neither of these guys could get a hand on.
Yeah.
But bagging's a great thrower. Like that is by far like it gives you adrenaline, and it's something that's just something completely different from disc golf. Like in my experience, I've played in a couple disc golf tournaments, and like you have to be like focused and kind of calm and collected, and or maybe zen, really strategize, plan out your next throws. I mean, preach it to the choir, you guys know way more than I do. This is just from my experience, but in guts you got to be like amped up, be like, let's go. And like I know people on my team like to pound Red Bull. Like I actually
Let's
did that.
go, yeah.
Yeah.
my
Matt's
first-
a huge
my-
Red Bull guy.
I'm in.
My
So
I have.
I just want to say my
We're
first
so excited.
my first disc golf tournament, I played like I was playing guts. I got to the tournament, I had a coffee, I started pounding Red Bull. I'm like, let's go, and I'm getting all psyched up. And then I get up to the tee pad and I just like totally rip it way off into the woods because I was just way too hype.
You're ripping it like a
And-
guts disc.
Yeah.
guts. Whoa.
So I got one last question. I was kind of in like the tournament mindset of everything. In disc golf, we have C tiers, B tiers, A tiers, but like are generally our C tiers. You know, first place in the pro division. Like I just won a C tier this past weekend. I made $170, and it literally paid for my hotel and my gas to get up to that tournament. How come there's not like low level guts tournaments happening every weekend? Let's just say in a local area. Like if there was 20 teams in Leicester, Massachusetts, could they just run tournaments against each other? How does that all work?
That's a good question. And I think largely the answer is just that we're not that big yet.
Okay.
We had a really big guts community back in like it started in the 50s. It's actually the oldest disc golf sport, the oldest disc sport, and
Wow.
we had a lot of people in the Guts community in the 60s and 70s, and then it kind of went through a drought, and it's back into a growth phase. And that's why I made gutsplayers.com as well, to like help give people like a place to collaborate. A lot of the younger kids aren't using Facebook nowadays, so I wanted to give them like a platform to use to like collaborate. I made a Guts map so that you can find like practice locations, tournament locations, Guts clubs and stuff like that.
So tell us about this. This is that website. It's a new website, or this is a place you want everybody to go?
It's pretty new. I've hit like two milestones out of the 5 that I want to get to. So I have a lot of things up right now, and people can register for tournaments, and we didn't have that presence before. Like, this is new to our sport. Before, it was all done on paper. It's kind of like you've got that like disc golf scene, I think it's called.
I was just about to say, is this? I feel like this is kind of going towards disc golf scene, to where disc golf scene is where we find all of our tournaments to sign up for them.
Yep. It's has a lot of feature parity with that website.
Okay.
And, trying to bring us into the current era of the internet, I guess.
Of the internet. And I want to say, there's a really quick question here, because we have our next guest getting ready to come on. But are there any clear discs in the game of Guts? Clear.
Clear.
Sounds horrible.
That sounds dangerous. Yeah, the orange is for high visibility for sure.
That was from one of our longtime listeners in the chat. I appreciate that, Doc.
I got a quick question. One, do you have to take turns when you're on the attacking side, or can one person kind of be your specialty attacker? And then 2, what's the general percentage that you score, like your scoring percentage? Is that something that's like tracked? And if I'm watching, am I going to expect points to happen constantly, or is it a lot of defense? Is it kind of a good mix of both? Is Mando
about to go into the Guts world?
I'm just asking a question as a fan right now, just to get that started.
Yeah, Japan does a great job documenting everything, like the score percentages and defense percentages. We're still trying to catch up to that. I think they're using like Excel for that, but that is very important though. Like there are a lot of players that in the community, that when they step up to the line, they're probably going to score, and they have like maybe tricky shots, and I also have some shots that like move a lot, like kind of like a big curveball. I call it the slider. But when there's newer players who haven't seen it, it's almost a guaranteed point, because it's so weird. Like, it's not just straight backhand that you have to try and catch. It's coming as fast as backhand, and it's like doing a corkscrew. So it's kind of strange.
So I want to say thank you for coming on. And this is really
one last question that I have to
give
ask.
it, Nick. Get the question.
Guts Mando.
Yeah. People get, I'm sure people get hit in the face all the time. Bloody noses, teeth knocked out, anything like that ever happen?
Somebody killed a guy. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to
with
walk
a
out.
Frisbee. There's actually a movie with they put like razor blades on.
Yes, we've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen that.
Okay, yeah. But no, typically the most common injury is you throw the Frisbee, and like the defender tries to catch it, but they miss, and it glances off their hand into the other guy.
Oh.
So it's usually like indirect contact, and then you can get a black eye from that. I've seen that.
Contact
I've seen broken glasses. My slider has hit many people in the nuts or the beard. I actually have a cool. I made like a promo video for it, like back in 2014 or something like that, called Guts the Slider. If you look it up on YouTube, it's ridiculous. It's like a funny video, but I made like a promo video for my shot when I invented it, and at the end it talks about hitting people in the nuts.
Okay. Sounds wonderful.
We'll be watching it after the Nick and Matt show today.
Yeah. So there's someone there. You probably have fans in the chat room here. They've been building this up the whole show, so this is awesome. We have a larger live audience than usual. It's probably thanks to your community there. We appreciate that. I will also say thank you to you. You've invested in the Nick and Matt show, and I want to get this out there into the public. I was having network issues with my computer and streaming, and what we do is really important here, right? We talk about disc golf, and if we can't do that regularly, or we're having to restart our computers like during the show because things are crashing and streams are going bad, I was at my wit's end, literally. I don't remember how long ago this was, William, but I reached out to my community of disc golf friends, And Wes Shinovar over at Discraft Underground said, you got to reach out to William. So we got in contact. And I will say this, William is a ninja when it comes to network. Like, he could right now, everyone in the chat, you better have good firewalls because he could pipe in right now and know right where you're living, what you're doing. This guy is good, man.
I've been a network engineer since 2011.
And self-taught, right? No, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, a lot of it was probably riding on the shoulders of giants too. I mean, that always helps you learn faster.
William's like, I think you have one utility pole outside of your house, maybe up another quarter mile. There's another one that has this like router on it. And I'm like, how do you know this? And he's like, oh man, you've got a lot of issues here. So long story short, he hooked us up, but it wasn't going to be cheap. And he said, listen, Matt, I want to talk about guts. And I said, anytime, let's do it.
Let's go.
Here we are on the Nick and Matt show, everybody. We hope that you've given him the time. You've listened straight through. Yes, we have Paige Pierce coming up, but we hope you appreciate it as much as we did having William on. I am going to hopefully play this at some point. Sounds wonderful because I like the idea of pounding Red Bulls and throwing Frisbees at each other.
It's so much fun. You
Exactly.
have to try. I'll send you some Frisbees.
Yeah. If you give us your address, we'll bring it up
Yeah,
again.
we're
Yes.
gonna
Did I say Frisbees? I meant discs.
Oh yeah, sorry, disc.
Okay, one last question. Sorry. When you're throwing on offense, are you wearing the glove still, or do you take off the glove?
That's a player's choice. I
Okay.
like to use the gloves because I like to hold it Cali grip, which
Cali
is
grip.
the disc resting between my fingers here.
Oh,
Can you use any sort of grip enhancement?
You know what? I saw your advertisement and I totally bought like in real time as you're putting that
DG Max
wax.
Wax?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you bought
totally
some in
it
real
today,
time?
Yeah.
Yeah, like right when
Wow.
you're talking about it.
Oh, heck
I
yeah.
didn't see a place where to add the code.
Oh
but
boy.
I just paid full price. But,
Dang it.
We're gonna
That's
Venmo
probably-
you the 20%
Yep.
off you would have gotten. 'Cause this was a blast.
But
That's
I
interesting.
definitely want to try that. I want to try that for guts because,
Yeah.
like when I throw my slider, grip is really important to me. Like if it slips out of my hand, I'm dumping, and I just gave them a point.
He's
And
dumping.
Yo,
Yeah, the
DG
Frisbee to
Max
throw it
Wax,
back at
we
me.
might have just gotten him the whole guts community, so we gotta ask for a raise.
Every guts player that's out there, and you
Yeah.
just heard William talk about buying that, find out where to put that code in. He was just being generous. He didn't care about that 20%, but like, or 10%, whatever it is. Use the code. Hey,
And we'll get you some beef jerky.
yeah, beef jerky.
Yeah, I do want to try that for our player packs at the US.
Well, there you go.
USA Guts
Sold.
Open
We
as
got
well.
Double G in the guts community now.
In fact,
Double G would have been a good throw.
in
on
all
that.
seriousness, because
He
we just
threw
did
it
that
us.
ad right before. Yeah, he did do that. There's
he
a
did?
video. I don't know if I have it. I don't have
I don't
it.
think he threw 100%.
Anyways.
I've seen him throw, and that dude.
He was
throws really
holding
hard.
back. He was
Like,
afraid to hurt someone, but
yeah.
he's the one who started that. We're actually going to hook you up with some jerky. So I will either have you reach out or we'll get each other's address. Just remember, we'll contact you after the show. We'll get you some free jerky. So thank you so much for
Awesome.
coming on. It
Thank
was a
you.
pleasure.
Yeah, thanks
and
for having me on.
yeah, we'll talk about guts from here on out. Maybe the run and dump
Yeah.
and the dump and run and all these other good things we do. But sounds like a blast. Thanks for coming on. And
I'm gonna practice catching that slider now.
yeah. It's gonna be
Nobody
fun.
catches it.
All right, man. No one catches it. I love it. All right, William. Great having you on. Have a great evening.
Peace.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
All right, so that was William Walden, the president of the Guts Player Association. We now know what it is. It does sound fantastic. To me, it's like a hybrid of a flying disc sport, but also like I've loved like beach volleyball and all that. The idea of like jumping and diving like 2-on-2 or 4-on-4. Sounds like there's some relation to like this back and forth real quick. I'm giving it to you
All right.
harder than you're giving it to me.
I got it right here. Okay.
Okay.
It is kind of out there and weird, but I think it's dodgeball mixed with like baseball.
Okay.
Which sounds weird, but the way they were talking, like the way he's talking about the box and the corner, it just like seems like a strike zone where it's like kind of
Wiffle ball.
arbitrary. Honestly, wiffle ball might be a
wiffle
better.
ball's
Yeah, wiffle ball might be better. But that general idea where you can throw sliders. I mean, he said it multiple times. You can throw different kind of pitch types to try to get the swing or the catch in this instance off. But then it also is like dodgeball where you're lining up across from each other. Just you're more of standstill and then you throw. It's so. I mean, obviously
It-
perfect.
Texas
but-
Western shootout.
Super,
you know?
super fun. Let's talk about this product I've been using a lot. Like I said, I bathed my whole legs in it and my back and everything else. This is, yes, I am putting on Hempfield Botanicals live and recording right now on my wrist that I have a tendonitis issue. And you could say, Matt, get that fixed. I'll tell you what, I've went to therapy. I've had electrotherapy. I've had this like They put your hand in hot wax and like heat it up, like get it really deep heated. I've tried everything, including, you know, all the ibuprofens and everything else. I've decided I'm sick of doing all that. I'm going to give this a go. And guess what? It feels good after I apply it. I'm happy with this product. This is the general muscle recovery. I could be using the targeted pain salve or salve. I always say salve because there's an L in there. It's a silent L. Salve. And both of them leave me feeling better. And so I play better. Feel good, play better. Hempfield Botanicals. You can see on screen, organically grown hemp. Recommended by doctors and physicians. Use code Nick and Matt. You get 20% off. Nick, this is a product you've been using, I know.
Absolutely. Guess who used it right before their 10-hour drive and then right after their 10-hour drive? Because sitting in a car for that long sucks for my kneecaps because they're bent the whole time and my back. And so I used it right beforehand, right after. Actually used it before Ben and I went out and played a round today just to make sure that every part of my body was feeling good. I feel great right now. I'm ready to keep going.
Awesome. So this is a great product. Ben uses it. Evan uses it. We want to spread the love with everybody. 20% off is no joke. Like, I just realized I'm like Inception with my camera here. 20% off is no joke. Go use it. I did chainsawing and weed whacking all last weekend, and I was feeling it in my arms and my muscles. I'm like, I know you're not supposed to be getting addicted to this stuff. There's no THC in here, and THC isn't necessarily addicting, but I just feel like I want that product now when I feel my muscles getting sore. It's like, I need some Hempfield. And hopefully you feel the same way, where you're happy with the product the way that we are. Thank you, Hempfield Botanicals. So we're just about ready to get Paige Pierce in here. But while we wait, I'm going to play a fun game called Overperform, Underperform. And we don't get to talk about it. We just get to say over or under. That's it. Okay.
Matt, just say that to yourself first.
I'm saying it to myself. So let's go around the room here. And we're going to start with the MPO division. I have 10 players. And I'm just going to point at you and you just say over or under. I'm just going to say a name and you say generally how you feel about it. That's it. Just over or under.
At OTB Open, they played over under.
No, the whole season. How do you feel generally?
Got it.
How
Compared
do
to
you
what
feel?
they should be doing, or just
This
how,
is-
Compared to what you
Yeah.
feel like
I
they
know
should be doing.
So
I know the
hard.
stat guy doesn't like this, but just like my feeling. That's literally it. Here we
Okay.
go. I'm going to start with Ben and you just say, I'll point to you. Simon Lizotte this year. Go.
Underrated.
Okay. Underperform. Nick.
No.
Overperformed.
Overperform.
yeah,
Ben.
overperform for sure.
Overperform. Simon Lizotte, I say overperform. All right. But let's do this. We're going to get back to this game, but because I just realized we're using that as a filler right now, but we have Paige Pierce lined up. So let's get out of the filler game and let's jump into an awesome interview here with Paige Pierce, everybody. Welcome to the show, Paige. We're glad to have you. Appreciate you taking the time to come on. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Great.
We're doing wonderful tonight.
We're doing better now that you're here. Although we had a great interview with the president of the Guts Player Association. Have you ever played Guts
Nice.
before?
No, I have not. But I used the frisbees this weekend to play catch, and they were nice frisbees. if I
Okay.
will.
It's a crazy game. You throw it as hard as you can at each other. And he said it's fun. And I think it sounds fun.
Yeah, I like throwing things. So
Okay.
I bet I would like it.
She can join MVP Open. Us four get the fifth person. We'll have
Oh, I'm
Paige and
in.
we'll have a. Okay, cool.
There we go.
I'm in.
All
Well, I
right.
guess first off, we got to say congratulations
Yes.
on
Thank you
once
very
again
much.
another Elite Series event win. Incredible to watch.
Thank you. Thank you.
How did it feel? Give us the emotions going into the last round and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, going into the last round, I just felt like excited to play the course again. Honestly, the shots out at Swenson Park are so cool. Like, you're throwing every single shot in your bag. You're throwing sidearm, backhand, roller, hyzer, and hyzer. Like, it's a real test of all your skills. So it's more so than most courses that we play. It's really cool to just walk up to a shot and not know what you're going to do until you get up to it. So I just love that aspect of disc golf. And no matter how many times you play the course, you're throwing a different shot than you did the round before. So I was just excited to get back out there and throw some more shots and see what the course was going to give me. And it gave me quite a few circle 2 looks. And I wanted to make some circle 2 putts. So I ran a couple that I probably shouldn't have and made it a little closer than I wanted. But, hindsight, I don't regret anything. And I thought all of my circle 2 putts that I did run were super close bids anyway. So, yeah, it was just, I had fun, and it was really cool to have the gallery so engaged, every shot, it was like they felt it with you. And, I felt like they were super happy for me at the end, but I also felt like they felt this like heavy heart for Natalie, and they verbally expressed that at the end, and just like, hell of a run, Natalie, and like the standing ovation. And it was just beautiful. It was a great weekend.
Nice. Now, before the tournament started, there was a quote of you just saying you felt unprepared for this event. Where did that kind of come from? And then, like, why do you feel like you felt unprepared?
Well, I think when you're playing a new course, like being a veteran on tour, I'm so used to just knowing the course. I know exactly what I'm going to throw. Also, I'm in the swing of the tournament. So taking 2 weeks off, coming to a new course, I only knew like 3 or 4 of the holes that carried over from last year. Basically, I'm learning a brand new course, and it was just so long, and getting my body back ready, tournament ready. The first 2 practice rounds, I didn't feel confident at all. The 3rd practice round, I was to the point where I knew what discs I was going to throw at least. So that 3rd practice round felt quite a bit better. But still, I had lower expectations than I typically have for myself. So, yeah, I think I also kind of touched on that. It was cool to feel a new set of emotions like that. I've never really felt that before. So it was cool to just, go through some new emotions. And the game of disc golf yet again tested me with some new thoughts going in.
Yeah, and I would just say I'm curious how you were tested going into the last round with a 9-stroke lead, and it did evaporate altogether down to the last 2 holes. Do you find yourselves in moments like that where it's starting to get very serious, if you will? Maybe it's not for you, I don't know. Do you find yourself getting very serious and trying harder in those moments, or is it just do what you always do, Paige? Like, what's your mindset?
I think if you're trying to think of like, what do you always do? You're kind of dictating your own story based on your past. And I think every day is a new day. And, or I at least hope it is, like, who wants to live the same day over and over again, right? So for me, especially in that round, I mean, I didn't check the scores. This is my 3rd tournament in a row now where I haven't been on UDisc at all. My phone's on airplane mode. I'm not receiving any kind of messages.
That's
no
why she
service.
wouldn't respond. Man, I tried over and over. No, I'm kidding.
No, so yeah, it helped me, especially for someone who my brain is just going so fast all the time. And so to eliminate the scores from those thoughts in there was really, really beneficial for me, to not be thinking about that. And actually, like, I didn't know the scores until hole 16. And I looked up at the scoreboard and I saw that we were tied, and I was like, what? Oh my God, really? And I looked at Joe and I was like, is that accurate? And she was like, yeah, it is. And I was like, okay, guess I need to get 2 pars here, or a par and a birdie would be ideal. So yeah, in those last 2 holes, that definitely felt the pressure and the stress and the tension. But luckily, I mean, that could have been 15 holes of stress, but instead logging off UDisc, not being on my phone at all, not looking at the scoreboard, I didn't have to feel that stress for as long of a period of time. So I felt like that was a good move on my part, and it's something I'll continue to do on tournaments in the future. If I have a caddy, I'll just kind of tell them, hey, let me know. And I told this to Joe too, let me know if she gets within 3 of me. And she told me. So, things like that where it's like, okay, you don't really need to stress. I've also done it the complete opposite too, where like I feel like my round is absolutely terrible. And then I'm like, hey, caddy, like, what's my score at? And they're like, hey, you're still in the top 5. And I'm like, oh, wow, cool. Okay. I need to stop freaking out then. So I think comes a time and a place, but for those people that are playing tournaments and, looking to close out a tournament, I think just stick to the golf and focus on the shot ahead of you and log off the phone.
Okay. People in our chat are asking about an earbud maybe that they saw during a round. Are you listening to something, or is this something new that you're trying?
Yeah, I actually this was the first event ever in my entire disc golf career, actually, that I put some AirPods in, and I always want to be, I mean, these are my disc golf family, it feels like my cousins, my, sisters are out there, like I'm playing with them, and I want to be a part of the vibe and a part of the card, and also I just enjoy like the sound of the wind and the birds and the leaves rustling. So I've never really tried it before because I wanted to like be super present. But yeah, so I decided I wanted to try this, and my brain's been super active lately, so many thoughts coming in and out, and I wanted to just kind of like flow into like a music vibe and just kind of get on the train of like what the music was. And so yeah, it was super nice. It helped me, like if I had any thoughts, I would just be like, okay, Paige, this is one of your favorite songs, like just start jamming, and so it was really helpful. Actually, I think it's a definite advantage, and luckily it's legal right now, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I think I just, Joe, my caddy, she bought me some AirPods. My birthday's on Tuesday, so she bought me, I borrowed hers, so she bought me my own set, so I'm gonna be rocking those at Portland Open. And
we all need a caddy like Joe, man.
But yeah, I think I liked just having one in. And so like on the tee pads, I would place myself to where my card is on the other side, so I could still hear them, take score properly, all of that. But then, yeah, like when I was throwing or anything like that, it was like I was just in that zone and, just flowing, not thinking too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I heard you in the post-round interview. I think I didn't write this down or quote it, but along the lines of, you found yourself kind of wondering at some point, like what the commentators might be saying during the round about certain things, like, oh, Paige is out of it or Natalie's out of it. Like you were saying, don't count anybody out. You were saying, like, let's, root for each other. Let's think the best, that kind of a scenario. Can you elaborate on that post-round interview? You kind of seem to have an opinion that you wanted to share, and I just want to give you an opportunity to maybe elaborate a little more on that.
Yeah, it wasn't for that event. I actually wasn't thinking any of those thoughts, and I think that's because of the earbud. But yeah, the night before, so Saturday night, we had like a players party where Kevin Jones DJ'd, and then we had a band come out and stuff. And I saw Simon out there, and I just gave him a hug. I was like, you're my hero. Like, you're killing it. You're a dad, and you're out here every weekend, like getting top 10, top 5. Like Simon's had such a good year, and regardless of what happened the final day, I just wanted him to know I was proud of him. And he told me that, he's like, man, I need some mental coaching. I'm just blowing all Simon's secrets, but he loves me.
He was on here. He surprised us earlier in the show.
He's hired mental coaches to come out to like Worlds before. We know he needs help mentally. We know.
Yeah. So yeah, he just told me, like, man, I find myself out there all the time just wondering what the commentators are saying. Like, what are they going to say if I do this? What are they going to say if I do that? Like, and I was like, Simon, that's not just you, that's all of us. Like, I am there all the time I'm there. And it's like, it's just our natural tendency to like wonder what people think of you. Oh, because we're thinking about what other people are wearing or, dressing like, or what are they eating? Ooh, do I like that food? Oh, and it's just like, my sentiment was just supposed to be, I have a hard time keeping things brief, as you guys probably know, but
we love it.
You can never find the right words, but yeah, like basically my point was just like not directed at the commentators for that weekend, or not directed at OTB anything. It was just a general thing of like, we should all be pushing each other up, like if we're sitting behind Nick Carl and we're like, yeah, Nick, like you're crushing that podcast, he's going to have a better podcast. But if we're like, hey, Nick, man, you really haven't been doing so good. Like,
that's why I don't read comments.
We don't read the comments at the Nick and Matt show.
but you should be able to.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
my whole point, is like, no matter what, if you are involved with something and maybe you guys watching, you don't like what Nick and Matt have been up to in this 2-minute segment, you wish this 2-minute segment was better, instead of leaving a comment saying, hey, that was terrible, just say, hey, I really love it when you guys do this, like you should do that more, like that is so cool, you know? Like Alyssa always
Congratulations,
Simon-
by the way.
Yeah, holy cow!
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations on
Thank you,
that.
thank you,
That's
thank you.
that should have been
Thank
the
you.
first
That
thing
was-
we said, but yeah,
Thank
We
you.
have her on so
congratulations
much.
that.
Thank
we
you.
forget.
Yeah, we gotta
forget.
congratulate you every week. I feel like so.
Thank you.
All right, sorry. We got that out of the way. Appreciate it.
But yeah, like when I play a round of disc golf with her, which she very rarely plays, she'll hit like the third tree on the fairway and she'll be kind of like disappointed, and I'll give this feedback where I'm like, oh, hey, it was a nice angle out of your hand, like blah, blah, blah. And I just pick the positive to take from it. And she thinks I'm just being nice because I love her. But that's just how my brain works. And I wish that's how more people's brains worked, is like, focus on the good. Like, don't focus on, hey, you hit that tree. Like, man, that was a sweet hyzer. I just needed it to be a little bit wider. And so like, that's just my sentiment, is like, it's all about perspective. And like, if we want the sport of disc golf to grow, we should be empowering each other. And this is even well beyond disc golf. It's like, you know, if you see someone on the street, like if you see a homeless person, don't be scared of them. Hand them some food. They're hungry, you know? And so I just think that there's so much kindness in people, but they tend to just save it and use it for their closest people around them. But really the people that need your help and encouragement are the people that are out there struggling. So I don't know. It wasn't about OTB Open or anything like that. It's just more of a broad statement, you know, like we are all looking for some love. Just empower the people around you, and the whole world's gonna continue to evolve for the better.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I've done some thinking after our last interview with you, because you started talking about how to cheer and root each other on. It seems like there's a kind of a common message here that you're experiencing and learning yourself. I think some of our fans had a little trouble with the concept of like how they perceive sports to be. And so I was even talking this over with my wife. Yes, I have a wife that I talk to about disc golf and sports and life. And I brought you up today, Paige. I said, Paige is coming on. I've been thinking about some of the things she said. And one of them was like, how do we compete, right? And I know you were talking about being at a sporting venue and saying like, oh, let's not boo the players. And I think what's interesting here as a competitor, I don't want to go out of my way necessarily to like cheer up my competition, right? Like I'm gonna be like, hey, that was a great shot. Cause like I kind of want that advantage to myself where like I'm just gonna play and let my playing do this talking, right? And I don't think that's what you're talking about, right? You're not talking about going out of your way to cheer up your competition. You're just saying,
Why not?
Okay, this is Paige's take.
That's why Kevin Jones is my favorite MPO player, because he's not so in his own world that he can't have this genuine, pure, beautiful excitement for Kyle Klein. You know, like if Kyle Klein throws this sick shot, Kevin's going to be the first one there, like, amazing shot, dude. And, you know, you're going to hear that. And that gets the crowd excited, because as much as we want to stand out, people really don't want to stand out. You know, like people, you don't want to be the first one to clap. Like, oh, did everybody else like that shot? Oh, okay, now I'll clap. You know, It's like if you thought something was cool, scream about it. You know, like let your emotions out. If something hurt your feelings, cry about it. Like it's okay to feel things. And I think that's why Kevin is a hero. And you know, I strive to be like that. If I see someone throw a sweet shot, I want to applaud them for it and let them know like why that shot, not only hey that was a good shot, but hey, I really like the way, like Des Redding did to me one time. She told me like nice wind read into that headwind, like you had a great angle to fight that headwind. So like, you know, it wasn't just like, hey, sick shot, fist bump, you know, it was like a thoughtful thing. And I was like, yeah, I felt empowered after that, you know? And so like, it's contagious. Just give people some compliments and they're going to do the same.
I like that. And I think your response there caused me to reflect a little bit on how disc golf is for me. And I think I'm thinking at my amateur level. I'm like, I'm always going out of my way to say, hey, that was awesome shot, great shot, like really raise the vibe. But for some reason in my head, when I feel like you get to that pro top level, it might change. But Nick, how often, and Paige, I mean, how often have we heard in pro sports, sometimes they'll mic players up?
Yeah.
And I always go back to Tom Brady because that was our guy for so long here in the Northeast. But you would even hear him when he would get hit, right? He would compliment the defensive player. Hey, nice hit, number 42. He's like, I felt that one, you know, like, but I'm coming back to beat you. So like, I can see what you're saying, Paige, and I appreciate you spreading this message. I think many need to reflect on this, and we don't know, you know, right or wrong or indifferent, but it's a great message that we can reflect on.
Yeah, there's room for lots of birdies. Just because if I get a birdie, it doesn't mean my card mates can't birdie. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know.
Am I allowed to actively boo the Miami Heat right now, though?
Oh no, Paige would say no.
How are they doing?
We're up 12-1
I
right now.
I really hate the booing thing. I really hate it. It was
so I'm not gonna
so beautiful.
I'm not going to boo them. I'm not going to go talk crap to any Miami Heat fans or Twitter or anything like that. Like I'm such a relaxed fan that honestly, like when my team is on, I just want to watch them play, and I'll root for them, the Miami Heat, to miss a shot in the heat of the moment. But like after the game's over, it's like if they won, hey, great game. If they lost, hey, great game. Like it's. I don't have
he says that.
anything afterwards to like say, but there are so many Twitter warriors who are, I don't know. It's funny, but it goes along with what she's saying.
Since we're on the sports topic, we'll just stick with that, right? So why is it then those people, or maybe you, Nick, like when someone gets hurt on the field and everyone takes a knee and it's like this moment of silence, and then that player gets up and they're okay, even the competitors' fans and the competitors are cheering for them. Why can't we do that all the time? Why does it have to be when you overcome an injury?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, or is that fake then for those people? You know?
I think in the injury aspect, like I would never wish an injury upon any of my disc golf competitors or any of the competitors of sports teams that I like. Like when players go down, like Tyler Harrow tonight isn't playing game 4 because of a groin injury. And like that sucks because I want the Celtics to beat the best Miami Heat team. I want the best Miami Heat team to beat the best Celtics team. Like, I don't want to see players get injured, which is actually a topic that we were going to talk about, you know, a little bit in the show later on, potentially. But I think in the injury aspect, that's probably the most real that two fan bases will get together in kind of unity. And then after that, I think at that point, it's kind of like you root for your team, I root for my team in a sense.
Yeah. Which is fair and fine and happy and good, but there should never be it should be, hey, when Tom Brady throws a interception, you shouldn't, like a Tom Brady hater shouldn't be like, yeah, Tom Brady, you suck. It should be like, wow, nice job to the cornerback that just intercepted that, right?
So can all the Tom Brady haters just stop calling him a cheater then? Like, can we all come to agreement on
that
this?
might be too much.
Sorry, I'm going off topic, but I do appreciate everything you're saying.
Nobody ever knows the whole story. So
this is a great point.
You know,
great
who
point.
knows what actually happened? What is Tom Brady accused of cheating for?
This late game? Deflated football, it's the Spygate, who knows?
Yeah, boo.
I don't follow the football stuff.
That's okay.
The only reason I know about it is because every single time someone's like, oh, you're from Massachusetts? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you like the Patriots? I said, obviously. And they're like, oh, freaking cheaters. I'm like, dude, I don't play for them. Like, I just like to watch football, man.
Right.
This was a great conversation, Paige. I feel like every time we have you on, I have stuff to reflect on, and maybe it's selfish, but we're going to keep having you on. It's like free therapy.
Yeah, for me too, actually. Like, I was just talking to Jamie Thomas about this. I had a DGN interview and I was like, wow, these are really therapeutic for me. Like, you think all these things, but then when you're forced to like answer it, it's like, wow, that's what I think, huh? Wow. Yeah. But yeah, totally. It's like, yeah, totally. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it very much, always. I feel funny, and I'll just say this publicly. When we reach out, we know it's a struggle. Sometimes you're traveling on the road. I feel bad, but I'm like, we have to do our due diligence. We have to invite the players that the fans want to hear. So if you ever want to shut us down, no hard feelings. We'll still root for you.
No, today was a hard one for me, but I do have some stuff I want to promote. So
do it. Yes, so this is the time.
Okay.
The floor is yours. Do it.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I have a website relaunch. So we're having, well, I'll just tell you because we're live and here we are. But
exclusive? Is this exclusive?
Where am I?
I think so.
And now,
Oh.
for a Nick and Matt Show exclusive.
It's a Nick and Matt Show exclusive. All right, here we go.
Yeah, so I have a website relaunch and we have some more videos coming out tomorrow that are teasing it. But yeah, we have 9 new discs releasing and a bunch of other merch, patches for bags, water bottles, coffee cups, stools, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I've been working on it for a few months now, and I actually haven't even teased anything about it just because it's like, it felt like it was so far off to get 9 discs made. But yeah, they're all like PaigePierce.com exclusives. So like, I'll just say one of them.
Say one of them, please.
One.
Please say one.
We're doing soft fierces, so that's the one I'll tease. But yeah, so it's like it's never before discs, like fierces, passions, nukes. You know all the discs or whatever, but it's new plastics that you can only get on PaigePierce.com and stuff. So
wait, can you drop another
it's been
one? Are you doing anything
passions?
with the nukes? Anything pretty sweet with nukes?
There is some sweet nuke stuff
right,
going out.
Nick's
And I got
smiling ear to ear over here.
Nukes are literally like my favorite disc. The Paige
Nick,
Pierce nukes.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I got so hyped
right.
today. I just was in the field. I caught a red-eye flight so I could come out and do some promo stuff. I got 2.5 hours of sleep,
Ugh.
and I was like dreading it. I was like, man, this wasn't worth it. This wasn't worth it. And then I threw this nuke. I was like,
So
yeah.
I'm buying them all.
Everything changed. Yeah,
Going broke.
everything changed. You'll see the videos tomorrow. But
Heck
yeah,
yeah.
Hannah
some
Macbeth is
super
in the
sweet
chat.
discs.
She's saying, I need, just all caps, I need Hannah Macbeth. So
Yep.
All right,
Hannah,
cool.
you will like them.
anything else that you wanted to promote, or is that good enough? I mean, that was good for us.
No, that's
but-
it. That's
okay.
it. That's what I've been working on for
Awesome.
a long time now. And so it's cool to see them all like, I've been staring at them on a computer screen
Yeah.
or texting back and forth. Hey, how about this? Okay, no, different color. Oh, no, I don't like that, And so now today was the first time I got to hold them all in person and,
Nice.
go throw them and stuff. So it was great and perfect timing because Portland's coming up and, a refresh of drivers will be sweet.
All right. You made Hannah's day. She said my name. Let's go. That's what Hannah commented. So awesome. Again, congratulations for all your success, for your engagement, and for everything that you have going on. The website relaunch. Everyone go check that out. Support.
And my birthday is in
come
a few
on.
days.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, that's right. You said you got
Yeah.
the earbuds. That was a gift. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And happy
Well, from the
birthday.
Nick and Matt
May's a
show,
good
we can,
month.
if you like beef jerky, we can send you beef jerky for your
we
birthday.
do this every time.
Hannah will take it. Oh, wait,
Okay,
Hannah gets
sounds
free beef jerky. No.
We do this
we'll
every
open
time.
it up here for you.
When the mushroom jerky comes, there we'll get you that.
Yes, seriously, tell him.
We've told him.
I got some mushroom jerky and I gave it to him and I was like, hey, I'm telling you, it's
All
pretty
right.
good.
Well, they're thinking about it. They're
all
feeling out
right.
the audience. So
Nice.
All right, cool.
Nice.
Thanks for your time, Paige. We really
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks
it.
for
Have a
having
great
me. As
evening.
always.
Good success.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right. That was Paige Pierce. That was
We've had a lot of
my
great
brain
interviews
is
tonight.
spinning in a good way.
Yeah.
Paige is fun to listen to.
Guys, it's 21-4 right now. Just by
I
the
know.
way.
I saw that. I was like, this is a
Can
good
you
start.
put the game on one of these TVs so I could just be distracted the whole rest of the show?
If
I'll
you
literally
want,
talk
go-
till 10:30
just
on the
wait.
show tonight.
Go drop the projector. See that button on the wall over there? Or near the thermostat? Go over there. Take off the headphones though, or else you'll rip it off. There's a button next to the thermostat. Press the down. Yep. Push that down. And go to Evan's camera. Go to Evan's camera.
Evan.
There, okay. He's on camera. And what we're gonna do is I might have to get up and do something too.
I can't get out of the way.
I can distract them for
So let's do this.
Let's have the Evan.
Bevan Curran
Okay,
show.
distract for just a second. We have a little bit left to talk about. We will come back. So you guys talk about something disc golf related.
All right, Evan, I'm looking for those glow passions to be released on PaigePierce.com. Yeah, can you give it to me?
I'll send it.
Oh, thanks. Oh, dude.
Well, if you want to talk about glow passions more, you can. I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, what do you want to
But-
talk about, Evan?
I was just reading over my notes, and I totally skipped something that I thought was really interesting. So in 2017, Simon Lizotte finished on the podium at 9 of his 13 Elite Series and majors in 2017. Since then, he also has 9 podiums, but across all those years combined, so 2018 to 2022. But the tricky part is, I don't know if tricky's the right word. That's not the right word. But in 2017, he had 0 wins. He had 9 podiums and 0 wins from 13 events. Since then, 9 podiums and 2 wins, but from 47 events. So he's getting the wins, finishing on the podium a lot less. But I'd say 2 wins. I'd rather have that than
Kinda
no
trumps
wins.
that. Yeah.
But 9 out of 13 podiums is pretty dang good compared to 9 out of 47.
I agree.
So
Yes, this is a great test for how the show would go when we're away.
I would actually love it for an hour if you guys just ran the show. Like, just do whatever.
Agree.
So I just want to say, you know, 1 or 2 things really quick on Paige's interview. That was so freaking true. And I didn't realize, kind of like Simon was talking about it too, but I have had 2 moments of being on live disc golf. One was in 2018 when I was an amateur, so I didn't really care about it as much when I was on the feature card for MVP Open. But for Waco, when I made the lead card, that, like, one of the biggest things that I think really hit me mentally was, you know, and it started right on hole 1. It was like, oh, I just airballed a 60-footer. People are going to think, oh, this guy sucks. And then hole 2, it was, oh, I threw my OB and then I 3-putted. Like, oh, why the heck is this guy on the card? And then hole 3, I hit a tree. Like, it was, what are the commentators saying? What's Jomez going to say? What's the hundreds of thousands of people that are eventually going to watch this? That, like, I honest to goodness did not ever want to watch that round. I ended up watching the next day with the guys I was staying at the Airbnb with, because I was sleeping on the couch and the TV was in the living room. But yeah, that was something in my mind, and it hit me right on the second hole of like, what are they going to say about me? And then I think we got to hole 5 and Paul was like, bro, slow down. He's like, you're taking 10 seconds on the tee pad, take 15 to 20. Just slow it down, play your game. And then I got a birdie, but it was like, it was still one of those things of like, because I know there was probably hundreds of comments of people saying, how did he make lead card? Only reason he's known is because of Paul Macbeth and Hannah. Like, all that crap that people are just going to talk. And
it's true,
mentally,
isn't it, Nick?
I mean, in a technically speaking way, yeah.
People think I'm so
but-
mean to you on this show, but
Yeah.
they don't know how far back Nick and I go.
Exactly. I mean, it's almost 20 years at this point.
I
but-
remember Nick when he was like 4.
Yeah. But in all honesty, though, like, mentally, that freaking crippled me. I called my dad about it afterwards.
Really?
And I was
I
like,
don't think I ever heard that.
oh, yeah. Well, it was just more like,
Well, I would
'cause-
be in the same place.
because I like, for this show,
I'd be in the
I'm
same
not
place.
a professional podcaster. Like, we do a podcast because we
you're
all really,
professional
really
'cause
enjoy
you
it.
checked the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodness.
But like for disc
It's like
golf,
a
like
premier
I
podcast.
consider myself, yeah, I consider myself a professional disc golfer. And so when I have a bad day, it's like having a bad day at work.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks.
Yeah.
But my other jobs, if I had a bad day at work, I wasn't getting trashed on by a bunch of people who I have no idea. And probably, I'm not trying to say this to sound like a tough guy, because that's really not, but like, they wouldn't say that to my face.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't say what they potentially said on the internet. I don't know. Maybe there were no bad comments. I know there were some, but like,
No, there's
that's just
none.
kind of, yeah.
None.
But that's just it kind of when Paige was talking about it, when Simon was talking about it, like, Simon Lizotte is one of the most loved people in disc
But
golf.
he still
And
gets the
he
comments.
still kind of thinks about that of like, oh, what are they saying? And honest to goodness, like, I don't know if I've ever seen or heard a comment bad about Simon and the commentator side of things. Like, I didn't listen, you know, to every single thing they were saying, but like, we don't talk about, maybe if he threw a bad shot, it was like, oh, it's just a little short, win OB, whatever. He drains the putt right after and everyone loves him again. So I don't know.
Okay.
What Paige and Simon were talking about is definitely true to any disc golfer.
You can't see the chat, but Hannah's been lighting you up in the whole chat. the whole
Probably.
time. Oh, yeah. No,
That's why
she's responding to everything you're saying. You're like, I'm not a professional podcaster. She goes, you're not, right? And then she does like the cry emoji. And then she's like, got him. Because Nick can't see the chat right now.
Yeah.
But then when you said like they won't say it to my face, she goes, I'll say it to your face.
Of course.
So, okay. We love Hannah in the chat. This was a fantastic show. I do want to close out with this segment though. The one where I was getting to
yeah,
right
the
as
over,
Paige got
yeah.
it. So everyone's like, we're not going to do like the lightning round version where I'm like, bah, bah, we're just going. You can take half a second. I'm going to say Simon Lizotte, okay?
Overperformed, underperformed, not overrated, underrated.
Yeah.
No,
overperform, underperform.
it's your mentality of how are they doing this year compared to maybe how you thought or expected they might be doing,
Okay.
okay?
Gotcha.
So if I say the name Simon Lizotte, what do you think, Ben?
He overperformed.
He's playing better.
Yes,
Overperform.
he's
Okay.
playing
Nick,
better.
did you say over?
Over.
Yeah, I say over as
Okay,
well.
I agree. Let's go Calvin Heimberg, Ben.
Honestly, over.
Nick.
Yeah, I would say over as well. Like
I agree. Leading on podiums in the year.
You know it wouldn't be the Nick and Matt show if I didn't say over. I feel like can we put the meet expectations in there? He's playing, he got a win, so that might give him the tick, but I'm going to say like meets expectations. Drew Gibson.
Over.
over.
Yep.
That's tough. I mean, LVC getting a win.
Top 5 at this one, right?
I think he dropped to like 7th or so, or 6th.
Top 10 at this one.
Top 10 though. He's been on it's been a long run. It's
over under.
Come on, Kurds.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm gonna say over.
Over.
All right, and I feel like I have to say over because I wouldn't have expected his performances necessarily last year. So I would say over as well. Let's go to Joel Freeman. I know that yeah, Ben's shaking his head. I know he's a big fan of Joel Freeman. What do you think?
Honestly, and I don't know if you guys remember the beginning of when I first came on, I said he was going to go lower in the world rankings, but I think he's overperforming. I think he's doing exceptionally well.
Nick?
I feel like I haven't heard about him once this year, so I'm going to say under.
Oh,
okay. Evan?
I feel like I've heard about him plenty.
Oh, I'm saying that kind of.
He's made a name.
But...
He's made a name on his voices on events, I think, lately, or just his actions outside of his play. Not that they've been really bad. Just I would say
he's been a little bit more vocal.
Yeah, a little vocal. I think he can play even better than he has. So that's why I'm gonna say under.
Wow, I say over as well. And
I just think he's very good.
Now I just want all the stats to prove this. But
this is just based off of we could have planned this segment out and had someone get the stats for this, but this is an eye test. This is the eye test version. That's what we're going around saying how we feel. I feel like Joel is over because he's playing better than I think he did last year.
Yeah,
I feel like he's
100%.
on average performing higher for sure. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Gannon Burr, Ben.
Oh,
whoa,
my bad.
Okay.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy over.
Okay, Nick.
Under. He should be winning everything. No, obviously over.
Okay.
I agree over. I think
I feel bad saying over though because like
you're not saying
he's just performing perfect. Like I love it.
Coming into this season, how did you feel about him? Is he playing better than or worse?
Oh, definitely better. And we might hit him up. We might hit these two, but I'm thinking Adam Ham as Kyle Klein. His run right now feels like those two. Yeah. So I'd be curious how. Like I'm excited to see how that falls compared to those two guys.
Okay. I say over as well. And next year, if he does this, I'll say meets, but that'd be crazy too if I said meets when he's playing so well. We're moving over to Ricky Wysocki. Ben, how do you feel?
I'd say meets expectations.
Okay, you don't feel one or the other.
No, it's over under. We'll do meets next time. It's over.
I do meets,
over.
Everyone gets one meets. Yeah. Everyone gets one meets.
I'll do meets because he's winning and doing great.
Well, damn it! Now I want to say meets.
You get one meets for all.
How many more do we have?
He's got the meets.
I got.
You have 5 more in the MPO.
Okay.
Meets.
Okay. I do want to spiel on this. I'm saying under, and I'm saying it
over under.
I said under. I said under. I'm very clear about that. Paul. I mean, we might get to him. I think he's underperforming this year.
Keeps going
Eagles been injured, so I think Ricky should be winning more than he has because of those two things.
I think meets because now I'm going to explain. I think meets because he is winning still. He's placing well, and disc golf players have just gotten so freaking good lately.
Yeah, but coming into the season,
though, new bag.
Okay, so Nick says meets. Coming into this season, I wasn't sure with the new bag, so that is a little bit of like a wild card. But if I just have all things the same in my mind with Ricky, I feel like he's slightly underperforming. I'm close to the meets.
I'm honestly, I lean more under than I do meets.
Okay. And saying under is not saying he's having bad season.
No. This is just how you're feeling. Your eye test for how you feel coming into the season. All right, next up, you mentioned him already. Let's turn this clock around. We're going back to Evan here. Paul Macbeth.
Yeah, under.
Okay.
I hate
under.
Ben.
Under.
All right, Paul Macbeth definitely overperformed. No, I can't say over.
He's the GOAT, so
you could almost say meets. But there's probably 1 or 2 events that are leaning me towards under.
He has more elite wins this year at this point than he did last year at this point.
Right. So the season could shift. We could do this game again at the end of the season and see if it's
So when did he start? How many did he end with last year?
Des Moines was his first one, right? He only had 2.
Which one?
Des Moines.
Des Moines was in August.
No, that was July. June?
It's in August this year. That's
yeah.
why
This year it's later than it was. It substituted the Europeans.
So June was in.
It was before.
June was in Utah because that's when we went to Worlds.
Oh, it was his first event after Worlds because it was the whole big thing.
That's right. It was.
Yeah,
because he always usually does. Well, always does pretty well after Worlds.
Yeah, the USDGC. So he only had 2 elite major wins last year, which
50% all the time.
Oh, USDGC.
He's gonna be a back of the season warrior, and he's gonna crush it. I know it.
Okay, I'm not saying how we're projecting they're doing. It's at this point, it's checking in. All right, and if you're looking over Evan's shoulder, you're seeing a commercial, but you're also watching the Celtics every now and then.
Oh, wait, yeah. I don't want to get copywritten, though. Don't show it.
You can't. You won't get copywritten for this. We're doing enough modification. Okay. Calvin Klein, going back the other direction.
Calvin Klein, great underwear brand.
Calvin Klein. I've done that 2 times on the Nick and Matt show. We've interviewed Calvin Klein, everybody. Kyle Klein.
Kyle Klein.
Oh, for a second, I was like, wait, we already talked about Calvin. I didn't even put the Klein part in my head.
Yeah. He doesn't even get
I literally thinking there. I'm like, wait, what?
Kyle Klein, I think for him, he's underperforming.
All right, Nick. Kyle.
Under.
In the first round, under. All the other rounds, meets. So in total, under.
Arby's, we got the meat.
Wow, you're going really statistical there, which makes sense.
If he didn't play the first round and it was average, he'd be doing as good as people would.
I have to say under. I am sorry to say it for him. I feel like he's got the skills. But all right, going to Adam Hammis, Ben.
Unfortunately, that's an easy under for me. I think he has a ton of potential that he's not living up to right now.
Nick.
Under.
Ben. I mean, Evan.
Yeah.
I'm looking right
I'm going to say under as well.
Okay, under, based off of, again, my eye test and expectations for this year coming out of the end of last year. I know we overhype players. That's probably what happened. Maybe he was playing over last year. I don't know. Hopefully that fires him up if he hears me say that. Right. Kevin Jones, Ben.
Under.
This is a tough one, right, Evan?
Yeah, it is tough. I thought he was overrated last year, but now I think he's underrated. It's kind of tough. Like the perception switched on him. I still think he's very good. Just now people are so low on him.
Yeah, it's not that we think these players are bad.
It's eye test for this season compared to your expectations.
Yeah, so the expectation of other people, I think it's a huge under. It's not.
If you say underperform, that means you actually think he's better than he's playing.
I think
you expected better.
Yeah.
You expected better.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks he's better than he was playing.
Right, and I think I expected better out of Kevin.
But he's playing similar to last year.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but it's not
last year. Yeah, it's kind of hard to put those words in just over.
I know it is. Okay, and this is a bonus one. I don't know if we've already done 10 or if this is the 11. I think it's a bonus, but Corey Ellis, Ben.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy, overperforming. It's the Nick and Matt show effect. Come on this show, you get to top 20s in the world. That's just facts.
Right, Nick.
Oh, overperforming, definitely.
Okay. Compared to
over
your
is such a bad word for this
compared to your expectation. That's what it was.
How they perform.
Exactly. It's literally like
it's not they are.
He wasn't doing this last year.
It's compared to your expectation coming into the season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't act like how has his finishes been this year? Like he's
got a few
high,
like really good top 10s.
He's like top 20 in the world.
Here's
now.
the thing: he didn't play that many events last year. To where this is kind of a tough question too.
But that's also that's very impressive on his part.
Is he the last one? Because I'm gonna use my meats.
That's the last MPO.
Because he last year like D-Glow.
That's a great take.
Pop off.
Yeah.
But then he's not in contention every single week. He's not at that level, but he can be at that level, and I think he is doing exactly that this year.
I would like to say meats, but I can't, so I have to say over. I feel like
I just want to give Corey stats really quick. First 2 tournaments of the year at Vegas and DGP Waco, he did not play well. He went 62nd and then 70th. But after that, Open at Belton 6th, Texas State's 15th, Bowling Green, which was an A tier. We don't really need to count that, but he won that. Champions Cup 4th, played against Sports. So Jonesboro Open was 15th, and then 82nd at the DDO. So
The highs are more consistent than
Meats,
I thought.
I mean,
So that
I
might
think
be-
Meats is
exactly.
good. Meats
I
is
think
good.
the fourth place
But-
at Champions Cup, because he was, I think, at one point tied for the lead, if not one or two back. Like he was right in the mix the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's overperforming in the sense of like he's playing really well for his first year.
That's how I
legitimately getting out on tour.
Yeah.
Like that's
how I feel.
it's not overperforming. Like I don't think he could do this because the dude smashes. He plays great in the woods, and he's arguably one of the best putters in MPO. I think he had the best DGPT stats last year for Circle 1X putting.
He did.
So
He did. So that's, I agree with all your takes here. We're moving to FPO. The show's running long. I hope everyone appreciates that.
I'm in studio. It's fine.
Yeah, Nick's in
Yeah.
studio.
I don't need to drive home tonight or anything. So
Yeah, before everyone bows out and you're still here in the live show, we have an event coming up on Friday. Check out our social media. You can hear about it. Look at our bio and Instagram, all that. We'll talk more at the end of the show. Just wanted to throw that out there. Now, FPO, here we go. We just had her on the show, Paige Pierce, Ben. Over, under, or meats. And you only get one meats.
I don't want.
Arby's has the meats.
I know. I would say meats, but I don't want to use my meats yet, so I'll say
I'm eating meat.
over.
Nick's thinking.
over.
Kearns.
We need like 10 seconds after to be able to explain. We really
This
do.
is tough, right, Evan? This is tough.
This is tough. She obviously she just won. She won Champions Cup. She won. No, she didn't win Waco. What did she? She won something else.
Valerie won Waco. Did she win Vegas?
No.
Cat won
Cat
Vegas.
won Vegas.
What was after that?
Didn't she
after
win
that
Texas?
was
She hasn't. She hasn't.
Texas.
She won Texas. I'd
Yes.
say I'm not using my meats. Dang it.
I know.
But that's
it. Just has to be, but you have to lean one way or the other. Which way
I'm
do
gonna
you
say
lean?
this. I'm gonna kind of
over because of the major.
Someone said put a clock on Evan.
Yeah.
put a clock on
You're
that,
not
but I love
wrong.
it.
I'm not
I
good
love
at
it.
this.
I kind of, she's a really, really good one for meats, to be honest, because like almost all of FPO right now, except for a few players, are meats. Like especially in the top 5, I think are all meats. But Paige is winning consistently, like a lot of Elite Series events. She's playing very well. She doesn't have too many blow up events. When Kristen is here, she's in a lot more battles, but she's also beaten Kristen. Kristen has beaten her. So anyways, next one.
Well, no, I didn't go yet.
Oh, sorry.
Now, they said Evan's the Nico of this game, and they always refer to me as the Nico of Stat or Fiction, so
Dang,
you get a little
okay.
bit of the love now. And they mean that in the most kind way, I'm sure, thanks to Paige's interview. I feel like if I have to lean one way or the other, it's probably, because I'm not giving a meats here, it's over. That's just where I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure.
She just
If you
won,
gave an
so it's easy.
expectation, like if you gave a percentage chance she would
Marcus
win a
Smart isn't
major at this
playing
point of the
tonight?
year,
What happened to him?
I would say like 40 to 60%. Like that, winning the major puts it over the top, I think.
Okay. This is tough. This is tough. I love seeing the chats coming in with their answers here as well. All right, moving along. Speed this up a little bit. Missy Gannon, Ben,
Under.
Nick,
I want to say under.
Evan.
I kind of almost want to say over.
He goes, I
but
need
that
to look at the
sounds-
numbers.
That sounds really bad. I think last year she way overperformed. Now going into
This
this
is
year,
what were your expectations
going into this year,
going into this year?
you know, yeah, people, my expectations.
For her, or is she over or under meeting your expectations for what she was going to do?
She won a silver.
30 seconds.
That's over my expectation.
I'm going to say for Missy that I definitely feel like she's under, but the point that Evan makes has to be noted. Like it has to be. I think there was a little bit of overperforming for sure.
Well, we have
Going-
recency bias.
There's over expectation
Yeah.
coming into this year.
Well, no, there was this like, I don't want to call it a bubble because that sounds mean again. We're all like tippy-toeing around, but I think she hit like this bubble last year. She won some big events right in a row.
Yeah.
And everyone all of a sudden was like, to the moon with Missy Gannon. And then it's like, so then you hit this year and you're like, whoa, she's underperforming. And you're like, no, this is probably about right for her. She doesn't need to go be concerned, right, with what's happening. Okay.
Mhm.
Katrina Allen. Ben.
Over.
I'm using my meats.
All right. That's a good one.
Yeah, meats is a good answer. I'm going to say slightly over.
Okay, I'm going to say over as well. If I have to lean one way, it's over in this situation. I feel like she's performed really well this season. Okay, Haley King, Ben.
Under.
Under.
Actually, this under. I'm saying under, but I remember we had this conversation about who we thought was either better last season or better for this season, Haley King or Missy Gannon, and I said Haley King. I was super confident. This year, she just hasn't had that spark. So under.
Do we have the stat man? Or do we have the head-to-head against them
For this year?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can pull it up.
pull it up real quick.
Okay.
Go to the next one.
Haley King, I'm saying under.
Mhm.
By far for expectation, my eye
Yeah,
test.
agreed.
Okay. Kona
Haley-
Panis, Ben.
Haley doesn't have a win yet, right?
Mm-mm. Kona Panis, Ben.
Kona, unfortunately, I think the contract has put a lot of pressure on her. I'd say under.
Nick.
If I had my meats, I would say that, but I'm going to say under.
Meats.
I'm going under as well.
And I'm saying under for Kona. Not necessarily. It's interesting because now I'm going to make the comments while I've been searching stats. I feel like it's under not because necessarily, I don't know how to say it. It's expectation. I don't feel like she's playing really worse than her normal, but
The
it's under.
contract, I think, hypes everything up that people expect.
Maybe
her to
that's a
do very
perception
well.
thing. Yeah. Comment if you disagree. That'd be awesome.
Missy Gannon is 4-2 against Haley King this year.
Okay.
I did not expect that.
I expected if I was going to say 6 events, I would have said 5-1. But
And who's
501
advantage?
Missy's.
As your guess or before the season?
Before the season, I would have said Missy. Like, I'm pretty sure last year I said in this conversation, I think I said Missy. I think I did.
Okay. I before the season, I would have guessed Haley would win 4 or 5 out of 6.
Yeah. So your
really-
expectations
yeah.
under. Yeah.
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 Haley King, 23rd at this weekend's event. I thought, that's really way down the list. Anyway.
Kind of surprising to me, too, because she's a great putter and she did not putt well this weekend. If I think I saw
Something's
one
up.
of her stories.
Something's up. for
Something's
sure.
been up since last year too,
yeah.
and I'm not here to be TMZ, but like she talked about mental things. She moved,
Mhm.
thinking life changes, all this stuff. I think we need to give her time. She's young. She's fine.
Yeah, she's young.
Yeah.
So, but as far as this year goes, according to expectation, okay, we
Mhm.
said Kona, and now we're on to Kristen Tatar, Ben.
She is.
He's like, can I say over?
I'd say she's doing very well, but
Just
But-
very well.
but I think everyone expects that of her to do
Did
very
you
well.
use your
So I'm
meats?
going to say meats.
All right, meets.
I'm going to say over.
I'm gonna say over. I actually just checked Statmanda's Player of the Year rankings, which we'll talk about at some other point. She's number 1, which is as expected from what we've seen. But going into the
Meats.
year, if you told me Kristen Tatar is number 1 in the official or the Player of the Year rankings, I would have been surprised. I would have thought it would have been Paige or Katrina still with Kristen nearby.
So I want to say why I said over really quick because she's one kicking ass this year. She's playing incredible, but I also got to give it to her because she has to travel across the sea, get acclimated into the USA and everything like that with all the travel restrictions and all the things going on. Like she has it a little bit harder in the travel department than the players who live here full time to still come out, play well while bringing her, family over here, whatever. I just think it's incredible. All great things. Kristen's playing it awesome this year. She's my pick for Worlds.
Did you say?
I said over. I fully agree. She's like, I did not expect her to be the number 1 player coming into this year. Which it is slightly arguable, but I would say she is.
I think all around
But-
game, she's 100% the best.
My answer is I think I'm not going to use meats here. I don't think I'm going to use meats. I know the rest of the list too. I think I'm going to say over if I'm leaning one way.
I also said over for Kristen, Paige Pierce, and Katrina Allen, and I stand by that. Those 3 have been the clear top 3 more than I thought, even if they have been historically.
Okay, we have 2 left. This one and then a bonus one. Juliana Korver, Ben. Not a lot of events. Well,
Juliana Korver.
2 maybe.
Yeah.
Great performance this weekend.
Honestly,
Ben.
haven't heard anything much about her, so I'm gonna say under, just because I just have no knowledge.
Perfect. Default the under. Nick, what do you think?
Well, for the 2 events, she got 3rd place at a course I didn't think would really suit her well. So I'm going to say overperform.
Yeah, I'm gonna say over, and I think she's not touring because is
Her
it
boyfriend.
partner, boyfriend? I don't know the
Or
first title.
partner. I don't know. What do you say?
Jim Oates had the heart attack or
Heart attack
similar
and surgery and all
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So not to her own fault. Those are outside.
I don't know if she reposted a tour schedule this year. She posts a really big blog every single day, and I do enjoy reading them. So I don't really know if she posted a schedule for her tour, if she does plan on touring more. I know she said in her latest one that they did a lot of packing for the upcoming trips. So that makes me believe that they're at least heading up to the Portland swing of things.
I say for Juliana, however they say it, I say that it's over because, simply put, this last weekend's event, I was impressed and surprised. And so my expectation coming this year would not have been to see her do this at that event. So that's why I say over. And the bonus.
Nick Carl.
Over. Oh my God.
It's not even easy. It's not even hard.
I predicted 2 lead cards by this point.
Evelina Salonen. Ben. Evelina.
I'm just going to cut you off. This answer is quick.
Yeah, if you
under.
can.
Okay.
What do you say, Ben?
I'm a sheep. Under.
I'm saying under. I had the take
Struggling.
that I actually thought she was going to have a better season than Kristen Tatar coming over to the U.S. I thought people were underrating the
We should have
Europeans.
kicked you off the show right then and there. What the heck?
I mean, by all other metrics, Evelina was beating Kristen. Kristen just came over last year and beat Paige and Katrina. So everyone was thinking Kristen, whereas Evelina just didn't come over, and Henna Blommers was starting to get better and better and better and was beating both of them. I was very shocked by both of them. So Evelina isn't under.
I would put Henna in that same category of, like, I know she's not on our list, but she's another bonus. She'd be my under. Like, I was really, really, really looking forward to, like, those 3 women coming over, and just, I really wanted to see if their domination, because the MPO European players haven't really full on dominated in the USA scene yet, but the FPO players have. They have Elite Series wins. They come over to the States and they play really well consistently. And Evelina and Henna have not been upholding their end of the bargain. Kristen is literally doing everything she can in that department, which is awesome to watch. But
what'd she pay you to say that? I know you spent some time in Airbnb, and
I would say she's literally like my favorite. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. She's literally like my favorite FPO player to watch. It's just her game it's there.
Yeah.
Which is really, like, tough to see that for any player with an all around game.
Without question, Evelina is underperforming based off of my expectation. That's where I'm landing on that one.
I think I would have guessed Evelina and Haley King combined would have had 3 Elite Series and major wins by this point.
Okay. That was our under-over meets. We'll do that towards the end of the season. And if someone's listening right now, would you just, like, make a spreadsheet, or maybe this is Evan in his free time over the next month, just choosing what we chose, so that way later we can go, this is what you said. Do you still agree? That could be fun later at the end of the season. And we are hopefully giving people some content here to continue listening to. I don't know how many have listened this far in the podcast. If you have, congratulations. You're making it quite a ways into the show. I think it's at 2.5 hours now, but we have just a little bit more left. And that's because we had a topic that was going to be the Discera discussion, but I want to we'll bring in a condensed version over here. Why do our disc golf professionals think that playing on these injuries is worth it? Why do they do it? Look at Anthony Brella mid-round rolling his ankle. Who are we to decide if he's hurt enough to drop out, right? Ricky Wysocki drops out of Masters Cup with the flare-up from Lyme disease and not fully ready, it seemed like, but he decided to play. Paul Macbeth has probably played through injuries.
Elbow.
We know.
Yep.
You can pick a lot of different injuries that these players are dealing with. Yuli just decided to stop, but he's been playing. He says, he even said his quote, I think quote Yuli last week or the week before. The quote was like, he goes, if you're a professional athlete, like, you're always playing with some injury. You're never 100%.
You're always playing with some sort of injury, but sometimes that is like, a tickle of the ankle. Like, you might have rolled it, throughout the week, but you're playing on it because it's not the worst injury in the world. But if I had a sprained ankle, especially on my right one, I'm not going to go play around properly with that, or, a B or a C tier, but that's just me personally.
There's different scenarios here.
There is.
And the chat's already going on with this. You're going to bring up Paul and Ricky specifically. If you take those 2 players, they don't need Chris Dickerson. They don't need to be playing Paige Pierce. The biggest thing to be playing
with Paul and Ricky, it's not the money aspect of this. They both have $1 million contracts. Like, they are not the ones who need to go to week in and week out events and win every single weekend. Like they do not. They love the competitiveness. I talked to Paul on the phone earlier about this because I was genuinely curious. It's about the competitiveness. I literally just said it's about, and all I can think is that Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's about drive. It's about power. And like, sorry, that's just completely off topic. But
so you texted Paul this question, and he gave you an answer.
Yeah, exactly. So it's about the competitiveness. You know, he sought help for his injury, and the doctor said, "Look, you're not going to hurt it even more by playing on it. It's just not going to heal as quickly as you would like it to." And like Simon was talking about earlier, his injury is not one where you just rest and you don't throw. You consistently play, you consistently use those muscles for it to kind of re-strengthen. Ricky, I was actually really surprised with what Ricky said and why he played. And the reason before you say your quote, but like when he said one of his tweets was like, you know, I almost fell on every single forehand I had to throw, and I hobbled around on one leg out there. I'm stoked he did great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a solid player, and if you have that bad of a knee, you can still play that well. Man, freaking kudos to you. But if you're literally saying, like, every single time you plant that left foot and your knee's about to give out, like, bro, what if you all of a sudden, bam, pop, your ACL's gone? I don't know. Like, it really
depends on what the injury is doing to him. Because if it's just a pain thing, but not a damaging thing.
Did he say that?
It's Lyme disease. I'll read his. We texted him. You texted Paul. I
talked to Paul. Matt talked to Ricky.
And here's what he said. It sure was a tough one for me, and the reason why he did. And for me, it's the type of thing, it isn't going to get worse when I play on it. It's not like a torn ACL or something that gets worse the more you use it. I think, Nick, it's just a pain thing. This is the deal. It's just pain. Yeah. It's not actually damaging. He goes, it's a flare-up that swelled so bad I could barely walk. And I had lots of pain with each step from Lyme disease flare-up. And yes, this performance last week on one leg is one of my best performances ever with as big of a handicap I had. And I'm very proud of that. But the biggest thing that I couldn't do more damage to my knee, and I am a competitor, and I want to be out there competing. So the fact he said that he knew he wasn't doing more damage, it was simply pain, and he was able to compete. That's why he did it. And I think that's what most players are doing. If they think to themselves they aren't going to create more damage, and they're a competitor, if they think they have a shot, they're going to go for it. And Ricky finishing the way he did is why he did it.
And Paul saying kind of like the same mentality of it. And Paul got top 20 at this event. Not his best performance, but definitely not something to be ashamed about, especially on a bigger, longer course. But then we take someone like Eagle, got a big injury, took some time off, came back. I don't know if he really re-injured it, or he did re-injure it, right? At Jonesboro, actually.
We'll get him on the show sometime.
He DNF'd Jonesboro. And so he actually took himself out of the game right now. So it's kind of surprising to me, especially for the players who, like I said, don't need to do this week in and week out, to where it's like, you know what? They have a week off before Portland Open. Why not skip OTB Open, get 2 weeks off, maybe get 3 weeks off because it's Masters Cup before that. Like, a decent amount of players now can afford to take that kind of time off. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like they said, it's the competitiveness. They're not injuring themselves more, they think. And
should players have a team in some sense where there's either a doctor or athletic trainer or someone who pretty much says you're good to go? Or
I think the manufacturer should have that for their players.
Should, Discraft, Innova, Dynamic Disc, all these companies, should they have someone who just who checks on their players? Just like the Boston Celtics do.
Literally, the Celtics have a doctor right on the floor who literally, if Marcus Smart goes down, he runs out there.
Yeah. How many games did Marcus Smart? He just missed one game, but if you ask Marcus Smart, hey, do you want to play in this game? He'd be like, yeah, let me suit up.
He got injured yesterday or 2 days ago. It sounded like his knee cracked in half. He goes to the locker room. His trainer does something. He comes out and he bangs a three. And it's like, what the hell just happened? Did you give him crack cocaine or something?
Right.
Like,
I brought that up to you earlier. I was like, look at these players. And you made a good point, though. It's the level of the tournament, too. So if it's Worlds or it's the end of the season, let's say it's like the Disc Golf Pro Tour finale. This is it. Maybe they don't have other events planned for months. And they're like, well, me finishing out the last 9 holes is going to cause me 4 more weeks of rest and rehabilitation. They might do it.
This is why Silver Series shouldn't go towards DGPT points in a sense. Like Silver Series, I'm not saying completely cut them out, but Silver Series events, top pros should be able to look at those as they're either going to play it just for the hell of it, or they really like that course, or maybe they are those people who literally just want to play every single weekend. Pros should be able to look at those as, hey, I got a week off. I'm going to be out in this area now for my next tournament. It's an Elite Series 1. Like, I genuinely think that the schedule is kind of stretch a little bit more, especially when Elite Series mean way more than Silver Series, because I think Silver Series still mean a little bit too much, which is why it draws the attention. It's funny because it draws the attention a lot more on the MPO side than it does like the FPO side. Like, Paige isn't playing a single Silver Series at all. Cat, I don't think is playing.
Well,
all
and
of them.
Eagle doesn't ever. Actually, I don't think he ever has played a Silver Series, or at least he's never podiumed in the last since Silver Series. Because Evan from Statmando sent me some stats, and I'm pretty sure I looked at it, and Eagle has never podiumed at a Silver Series.
Beaver
which
State.
I'm assuming means he hasn't played it, but
I don't think he has.
But the point is, you're right.
He has 0. I think Paul has 3. Maybe Masters. But it's Masters Cup. Yeah. So Master Cups might have been his 4th.
But it's only because
did he podium at Masters Cup?
I think he came in 7th.
But Nick, it's only because of the expectation. Meaning, here, let me say it. If Paul like kind of started out playing Silver Series, like just like started that way, this when they opened Silver Series, people are used to Paul doing that.
Yeah.
And so then if he doesn't, that's a big deal. Same thing with Ricky, same thing with all these players. But because Eagle comes out and he's just like, nope, that's not my schedule ever. Nobody talks about it because he had already predetermined
it out,
There's nothing that stands out as, oh, he's not playing the Silver Series. So
so this is also one thing with how expensive everything is right now. 7th place at Masters Cup took home $743. Now I know there was like a 5-way tie for it or something like that, or 4-way, 3-way, 2-way, whatever it was. $700 to get out to California, spend a week playing these courses, spend the money on food, spend the money on gas, everything like that. Like, that's where Silver Series, like, why does Paul and Ricky play those? If Paul Macbeth wins or Ricky Wysocki wins the Masters Cup, they're not getting a random disc for that event, like someone like Gannon Burr. And I'm not shaming Prodigy or Gannon Burr, but Gannon Burr got not a Tour Series or a signature. It was more like a commemorative stamp disc saying, here's your 2022 Masters Cup champion.
It was
all
Silver
good and good.
Series.
Yeah, totally fine though. But I mean, for someone like Gannon who doesn't have a signature series disc, or like Paul and Ricky who have 5, or 9, depending on how you really want to look at it. But if Prodigy wants to come out with 1,000 discs for Gannon winning a Silver Series event, no issue at all. I don't look at that. But that's not what Discraft or DD is going to do for Paul or Ricky. At least I don't think so.
All right. The comment here, and I want Evan to touch on this because he had some great points on it. We talked about this weeks ago. We always do a post-show show that you guys don't know about. We shut off the cameras. Yeah, you're kind of getting it right now. Yeah, you are. But there's going to be a post show, I think.
Goodness.
That's just the way it goes. But someone in the chat, Amy, by the way, thank you for your chat. Seems like, this is what she said, seems like some Silver Series are like on the way-ish to another tourney. So why not? And this was the point we made where we wouldn't mind seeing the Silver Series, and this is in a perfect world scenario. I want you to elaborate on like separating so it's not on the way, so it can kind of become its own series, if you will, or something. So what are your thoughts on this? It was a good conversation.
There's a lot of different ways to look at it. There's a reason why Masters Cup and Beaver State Flint coming up aren't on the Elite Series. Coverage, number of events in that area, just how it works out. There's so many different ways to go with this. One is the Silver Series as we have it now could stay as kind of a secondary events that are worth points, but not as much points.
Yep.
Or those are relegated down, and maybe we have an in between. Series? Yeah, as you call it. So we still have.
It's not its own tour. It's still part of the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
We still have 10 to 12 elite events. That way we can keep the weight on those, and the top players will pick those events specifically to play. We'll get the.
That's one way to take this.
And then we'll have those other events, which are kind of like the better Silver Series events. Think Belton, Masters Cup, a few of those, where we have an extra 10 to maybe even 20 of those where. Lots of good fields. And then we have a tier below that, which, may or may not follow the general tour. It might be in those off weekends when it's on the West Coast. They also might be some events. You might have like the Stafford Open, which was in New Jersey last year. It could be around this swing. So when we have this off week coming up, there's a either Silver Series or new lower one, whatever you want to call it, in New Jersey. So you're not going to have the players crossing the country. That wouldn't make any sense. But that way you can have all these regional guys, like think maybe Andrew Fish. I mean, he's established.
Nick might have just beat him recently.
Yeah, Nick as well. Yep. Yeah. Those are two perfect examples. Those are two East Coast guys who are probably going to want to stay on road trip levels. They're not going to fly to many events, maybe a few a year. And that's a perfect Silver Series event where it's not just a regional event, but it's a kind of a step up from a regional, but not crossing the country, kind of all that. But just that wouldn't have any points to Disc Golf Pro Tour standings possibly. So it might make it a little bit more confusing because you have even more layers, which is already confusing.
It will get there.
But
I like the idea.
It's
of
one of those things
another
you'll
tour.
find out. Yeah.
And I say another tour. I'm talking like they say the Corn Ferry. Like have it not be
Well, it's almost like-
coinciding.
it's almost like the
Nick go tour that and win a few.
An A-tier tour.
Sure.
Yeah,
like if
well-
you just find every single A tier, if you win every single
Yeah.
A tier, you'll make over $1,000 a week, plus bonuses from your manufacturer
Okay.
sponsor.
Yeah. And I'm going to stick.
But make
If-
it an official tour.
If I could,
That'd be awesome.
Or make it to like I
Don't
would
do
love-
every A tier.
I would love to next year if I could map. I would make more money if I played only A tiers. If I found them week in and week out, than I would
True.
doing the schedule that I do right
True.
now.
So let's do it.
So I mean, like if
Nick and
next
Matt
year,
Show
if I
is the
wanted to
road.
map out like the Nick and Matt Show tour, where we literally just looked at every single A tier, like why not? You know what I
Nick
mean?
and Matt show.
Plus some of them like my round, which pretty cool. I've actually always wanted to do this, but Gatekeeper asked if I would do commentary on the round that I won. So when I get back to Virginia, I'm
Nice.
doing commentary on my final round with someone else, which
Awesome.
pretty sick. But that's a film bonus. That's coverage out there. That's good for my sponsorships. That's, you know, and all those things to where an A tier tour and then the Silver Series tour. I don't think Silver Series should be as close to the next event as they are right now.
But this is again, is it part of the
Because
Pro Tour series and it's just worth less points, or is it a separate tour? I agree with what you're saying.
Honest-
different conversations.
What I think would be really cool is almost have like two different Pro Tour championships, a Silver Series Pro Tour championships where, let's say this.
so that's
what if-
the
what
tour
if-
concept.
What if
I think.
only 1020 and above could play Elite Series, 1019 and below can play Silver?
I'm gonna phrase something else because
I think that'd be kind of cool. I'd
a
love
lot
to
of people talk about PGA where you have the Corn Ferry Tour, and as far as I know, the players who play on that don't play in PGA events at the same time.
Do you make money on the Corn
They don't-
Ferry Tour?
I'm pretty sure you do.
Can someone who actually knows about the Corn Ferry Tour call in?
We don't have
It's
the
gonna be
phones
the
open.
longest
Oh,
show
dude.
ever.
my point being is that those are two separate fields. You have the PGA field and the Corn Ferry Tour field, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think we're ready for that in disc golf. I'm going to use you and Andrew Fish again, both players who can compete on any given event. Andrew Fish and both you have done it. You've made lead cards. Andrew Fish was leading MVP Open last year after round one. But neither of you guys have elite wins. I don't know how many podiums Andrew Fish has. I don't think any, but he's probably has like a
Nick
top
has a
10 or
first
so.
round podium.
A first round podium. Yeah.
Let's go.
But
Missing cash.
my point being is these players can compete, but they don't have wins.
Yeah.
My thought was, what if you won an elite series or major event, what if that disqualified you from the Silver Series for, let's say, 12
snap.
months
You're disqualified.
or
Congratulations.
24 months, something like that. So,
Yeah, there's
so
a lot
Paul,
of cool
Ricky,
ideas.
Eagle, Paige, Katrina,
They
even
can't
Missy
play.
Gannon, they can't play Silver Series events for a full year.
And how about you
But-
can't get into elite unless you've won, an A tier
I
higher.
mean, maybe, but then you have points.
Sick.
Yeah, Nick
Totally
likes
down
it.
with that.
But when you have that, like think someone like Jeremy Coling, is a obviously fantastic player still, but hasn't won an elite event since I think 2018.
USDGC?
No, that was
I think it was,
16.
I'm thinking
Vibram
Waco.
MVP? No?
I think Waco was his last elite, and so he could still play Silver Series events and tour more if he wanted. He might not because of his his knee, and he might be resting more. But my point being is,
Yes.
he can still play those because he hasn't been the very
I see
top
what
of the
you're
game
saying.
lately. But in his heyday, he was one of the best.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't.
The way tournaments
Silver
used to be
Series.
run, where, and it's
I kind of like that idea,
kind
to
of
be honest.
still is run this
Kinda
way,
like that.
I'm not gonna lie.
where
Yeah.
all the money comes from the players.
Do we
and they're
play
like,
this? Do we
they're
can
like,
start our own?
let's
Corn
get
Ferry?
800 rated players in here because we need all the money. I'm saying that those days are starting to go away.
The
where it's like-
donator days are done.
I really think so.
Yeah.
I think it needs
For
to
Silver
become-
Series events,
Yeah.
there are
They
still.
can still do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because the signups don't
Yeah.
happen as quick. The registration's a little bit more lenient on that aspect. But honest to goodness, the way Champions Cup was held, to where it filled up once it was 1,000 rated and above could sign up for it, I thought was incredible because I was sucking that event. And the last round, even though I was sucking, I got to play with Adam Hammis and a couple other people who, like AJ Carey, who did really well at a couple tournaments recently. Like, I played with players who can shoot still very well. Adam, multiple Elite Series winner. I honestly think like most of the people that I see at golf tournaments, especially the ones that are in like the top 20, I've seen their name multiple times. And that's the same thing in disc golf now, to where because the Elite Series events have gotten kind of strict on who gets into them, you see those people. Like I don't see too many people's names that I don't know. Like Kirkland this last weekend, I knew his dad's name just because of hearing Frisbee stories. But what was his first? Was it Luke?
Corey?
Corey?
I'm pretty sure it's Cody.
Cody. That's right. Yeah. But that was the first time that I'd really ever heard of him, seen him play, seen any stats about him. So,
did you know he had a top 20 finish at the 2010 Beaver State Fling?
No, I did not.
I did actually. That was in the back of my head.
Oh, good.
It's crazy.
I thought that was crazy too. When I first heard about him, I thought he was like this new ultimate to disc golf.
Apparently, he's one of the best DDC players in the world. And
DDC is
Matt. You remember
fun.
DDC?
Yeah, I love it.
So
in a weird way, it's a
who-
hybrid. That's a hybrid between guts and
I wanted to bring that up
tennis.
to him. Yeah,
it's like a softer version.
I almost think it's more of a volleyball style.
That's what I was thinking. And that's so fun too. We got to do them all.
DDC's
a whole day of disc sports.
You guys never played Pyramids Leagues back in the day, but DDC was after Pyramids Doubles League. We would go and play the DDC court. It was lit up.
Game.
Jay Southwick, the owner of Pyramids in Marshall Street,
it's
one of the
so
filthiest DDC players. But it's a game where
it's like
there's two
Frisbee
Frisbees,
tennis.
and you can't let them land on one side at the same time. So like if me and Matt are on
no,
team,
you can't let any land on your side. So the goal is for them to land it on your side.
You can't catch them at the same time.
Two discs can't be in your hands at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's two discs are going back and forth like crazy.
Juliana Corver plays it all the time out in California. She's filthy good at it, but apparently he is one
We're
of the
just
best
rambling
players.
really loud. We're excited.
Yeah.
Nick, let's get to the Celtics because it's pretty exciting.
They're at halftime right now.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Good time to wrap up. Get a
we're wrapping up now.
bathroom
Damn,
break.
we're killing it,
dude.
I know it's like 9:45 right now.
We're almost at 3 hours, everybody. This actually, Brody Smith. Last time we had him on, or the first time, was the longest show we ever had.
Really?
I'm not sure if this is getting close to it. So. I think
this is
in your time. This is the longest.
This is the longest.
Probably Evans too.
Yeah,
okay.
So, yeah.
As we get to the closeout here, Nick and Matt Show fans, listeners, if you've made it this far, you probably are. Okay, yes. Like in all seriousness.
You are.
So if you're listening,
appreciate you.
And you're within driving range of Sterling, Massachusetts. That's not where we, the show, are located, but that's where we are going to be. And I say we, I mean Nick, I mean myself, I mean Evan and Ben. You get to come out. Play disc golf with us. We're going to have a really fun format. Think similarly to like champs versus chumps in that nature. One big group following, players getting picked to throw. Nick and Matt show doing like a best disc doubles between all of us four. And we're just going to have a blast. There's CTP prizes.
Discura brought some CTP prizes.
Every
discs.
Capital disc. We also have a lot of swag and stuff that we're going to bring. We're going to do throw-offs. We're going to have prizes on every hole. Come out. It's an $8 greens fee. That's it to come out and have fun. That's going to Meadowbrook Orchards. Great course. Great install. It's very new. If you haven't played there, you want to. This is on Friday, May 27th. Starts at 5 p.m. Get there early. Play around. Make sure you pay for it, but play around. And then come and find us. We'll probably be right out in front of the store area. There's some practice baskets out there. Maybe you'll see us. There's hopefully going to be a good group of us there. I know people driving down from hours away to come and participate. Kent Chapman.
Kent Chapman.
We're excited.
Chris Dierkins driving up, I think, from the Connecticut area.
A lot of longtime listeners. I had Todd in the chat reach out and ask if we'd fly him in. And like,
I wish. Todd just got famous from the Foundation Nation video.
Really?
I don't know if you guys saw that, but they had posted that he made a really big putt on hole 5 at New London.
Well, we need to create opportunities for others fans to do that.
Yeah, Todd, you don't get all
And to shout out, this is going to be filmed. We have local professional videographers done stuff like, you know, those shows where they'll be like River Monster and they go down to like Brazil or wherever.
Yeah.
He's done shows like that, like where they travel to other countries and film. But he's coming to do disc golf. He's excited to work and do this project with us. Craig Kimberly. Check out his YouTube channel. He's got like 10 times as many subscribers as we have, if not more. And he's doing something called BBQ It, as in barbecue it. Check him out. Everything Barbecue Smoked. Awesome guy there. Again, to the prize sponsors, fantastic. It's going to be an absolute blast. We invite everybody. We're going to make it a good time. And then my last thing here, I didn't do quite a rant, but I did a little take a couple weeks ago on Junior Worlds filling. And how do you invite 1,500 juniors and then don't get them in, they were able to finagle the field and get in, I think, another 100 players in. So there's still a wait list, but at least they did their part to try this year the best that they could to do it. I think they're going to reconsider for future years how this works, but that's a good update. Anything else from anybody before we close out? No? Wow. This was a marathon.
Good show.
This is a good one. It went by quick here. It's so much in studio. It's so much more comfortable sitting on this couch than the freaking camping chair that I sit on right in Virginia right now.
It's so funny. Yeah. If you appreciated the show, would you subscribe? Would you like? Would you share it? Would you let people know? They don't all go this long, so if that's what you liked, I'm sorry. But if you like it shorter, hey, just tune out earlier. All right, Nick.
Let's try to do a 30-minute episode one week. Like literally, let's just try. Let's try. Because we definitely cannot do it. Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in on this beautiful Monday night. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. I don't know. What are we at likes-wise?
We got 125 tonight. We've done 125 really well.
Dang, you guys are killing it tonight.
During the
125. Show. Let's try to get to 150. Matt will shave his head if we do that.
It's already falling out. Yeah. But I will say, Nick, just the live audience was here. We almost tapped 400 live tonight. And for an average show, that's pretty good for us. So that's pretty cool. Live show.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Special place in our hearts.
Tuning in tonight. That's really appreciated. It's very nice being back here in studio. I will actually be here next week as well. I'll be in Massachusetts for 2 weeks. So, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on all your favorite podcast platforms. Download us, leave reviews, all that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode this week. Tell someone you love them. We'll catch you in the next one.
That's right. Ben, Nick, Evan, you guys are awesome. And I'll see you sometime the rest of this week and Friday.
Yep.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Woo.
The Nick and Matt Show, a disc golf podcast designed for you, the disc golfer. Find the Nick and Matt Show on your favorite podcast platforms or join the conversation live on YouTube.